start.
God, I'm crying.
Wasting all my good stuff, Cody.
Well, save some good stuff. Save some good stuff.
Yeah. I'm all used up now.
You've been used up for years. You were used up before my sister got to you.
That's true. I'm very grateful that she was willing to take me on as her husband.
Okay, it looks like we are actually live. All right.
Yeah, we're streaming.
And Jeff and Christine, not Jeffrey and Christina, right? Jeff and Christine, Jeffrey, both good?
Jeff is good. Jeffrey, if I'm in trouble.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely Christine with an E. Hate when people call me Christina.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. All right, we got we're 4 minutes late, which is pretty good.
No, it's good for us.
Pretty good.
Which is right on time.
Everybody knew we were. I mean, it's pretty much everybody logs in at 6:30, and they're like, yeah, I'll give it till 6:35. And at 6:40, I start getting the, are you guys actually going to be on tonight? So
Yes.
eventually, at some time. Okay. So
Soon, stand by.
Soon, stand by. We are recording. Okay. No, because he was late. Okay, we'll give everybody one or two more minutes and get started.
Did you already go live, Cody?
Yes,
There it is.
It's up there. Yeah.
Never mind, I found it.
Okay. Horse trainer sent that. I was showing Matt earlier.
Yeah, he sent it to me.
Yeah.
I
Did
saw
he? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you
So
didn't show me that.
That one, but I was talking about the motorcycle
Trikes.
turned into a tricycle, a motorcycle big wheel.
And when I commented like, yeah, I'll probably die on one of those.
Are
if
we
we
going to
gain
start a
one.
motorcycle game?
We're gonna start a tricycle
it.
gang, big wheels.
Let's do it.
Motorized big wheels.
But
okay.
I say we solve crimes like Knight Rider.
Can I wear a cape?
Absolutely, you can wear.
I mean, I have
encourage cape.
2 rides on my bike, and one I've not fallen.
Now
on
he's fighting
50%.
crime.
I didn't. I'm talking about jaywalking and like simple crimes, like nothing complicated. I don't want to fight anybody or anything like that. I just want to make people aware. Hey, you just jaywalked. Good enough.
You just want to ride a big wheel. There's no shame in that.
Ride a big wheel
I would
around.
ride the shit out of an adult big wheel.
Dude,
Oh,
I don't
man.
know.
go on Instagram.
But I'm willing to
Go
try.
on Instagram and look
my
up
God.
Mini Bike Cartel with a K, and
Right.
they make big wheel, adult-sized big wheels with like full-on Briggs and Stratton lawnmower motors. And I swear I'm trying to get these guys in, man. I can't convince them. I want that.
I'm convinced.
I don't know if a lawnmower
yeah.
engine's big.
Oh, yeah.
enough.
Nah, dude, I need
Yeah.
a-
My bank account isn't convinced, but I'm definitely all in.
I'm on the
I'm
Grom.
in.
I'm on the Grom.
I think
gang,
I think we might be done with overlanding now. I think this might be the
Yes, we got 2 recruits.
Yeah,
Well, at least one confirmed recruit.
Yeah.
I don't know, Christine. She's like, mm.
Land Cruisers are overrated. Just buy a little Grom,
Yes,
dude.
if you sold your Land Cruiser, you could buy all of us Mini Bike Cartel trikes. All right, you guys ready?
Jose, you should do that, dude. Think about it.
All right, we're gonna get started. 3, 2, 1.
Jose, you should think about funding our good times
The Grom gang? The little Honda Grom?
by funding,
All
by
right.
selling your,
So-
selling a cruiser.
So it's 6:38. We were kind of streaming on time-ish. You guys know how that goes. And we're with our guests, and we're just recently discussing adult-sized motorized big wheels. And I think that we have convinced Jeff from Where To Next at Overland on Instagram and YouTube to abandon the Overland scene altogether and start mini bike cartelling with
It wasn't
us.
that hard.
Christine,
I
are
think
you in?
I'll leave that to you all.
Guess what? You're in. It only took one video to show you guys.
Yeah,
This solves a problem. This solves a dilemma for me. We have a motorcycle. We love to travel on the motorcycle. We have the Lexus. We love to overland. So this thing's got 3 wheels. It is the perfect middle ground.
Absolutely, 100%. Look, the trikechasers.net. Pretty soon, we're going to start a whole new scene. Do the trike, the trike. So on Instagram, where2next.overland is where you can find Jeff and Christine. I was just telling them a little bit earlier that I don't know how I came across their feed, but there was like a couple stories or reels. And after like the second or third one, I was like,
you saw their Land Cruiser, and you're like, dude, I gotta interview them.
No, I mean, I felt bad for them at that point. But just you guys do
reliability is terrible. It sucks.
How many alternators have you put in it?
If we're not counting the previous owner, 0.
Yeah,
I have not put any. I could put many other things into it. But an alternator is not one of them.
Dude, these guys give me shit because I replaced a 30-year-old part on the car.
Yeah, right, for real. All the stuff that I'm replacing, all the stuff that I'm replacing has 260,000 miles on it. It's original.
Yeah, but it's less funny that way. If you tell it that way, it's less funny. We make fun of him for carrying extra parts in his truck. The flip side to that is I don't know what parts to change in my truck. Like if my truck breaks, I'm towing it to the dealership and like, here, dude, just what do you give me for it? That's where I'm at.
Can you take the rooftop tent off first, please, before we work on it?
So you guys, you said you're out of Seattle, and looking at your Instagram feed and your reels and stuff, you guys are really, really good at capturing adventures and telling stories around what you're doing, and I commend you for the content that you're creating. Let's start with kind of some background on you guys. I know, Jeff, you kidnapped Christine from California, made her go up to Seattle, and which, blink twice if you need help. We'll come get you. But as he covers her up. So tell me.
We're on the internet. You can't do that to me, man.
Give me some background on you guys. Give me some background on you guys. Like, what's your, where'd you grow up, and how did you get into this overlanding lifestyle?
You start.
Yeah, as Cody said, I'm from California. I grew up in San Francisco. I would say that I didn't really grow up in a house where we really did anything outside, other than like playing hide and seek with the kids in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
It really wasn't until I was an adult and kind of moved around California and got to hang out with people who were really into just outdoor activities, and moved to Seattle in 2009, met this guy, and we just really bonded over like outdoor adventures. And I think between the two of us, he's probably more of an adrenaline junkie than I am, but I'm always down for adventures and trying new things. And yeah, I'll let you share the story about how we got into overlanding, because I think that's a pretty cool story. But yeah, I didn't really do a whole lot outdoors. And then all of a sudden, like once I got into my 20s and 30s, it was like, oh, wow, there's actually more to what's out there than just living in the concrete jungle.
Yeah. Especially Seattle, right? I'm sure outdoors, that's prime territory there.
Yeah. Well, and coming from, to touch on that, coming from San Francisco, San Francisco can be very insular, meaning you don't have to go anywhere if you don't want to. Everything you need is, a 2-mile radius, right? So if you grew up in that type of environment, any type of like
pretty
downtime,
sure if you wanted a Dodger hat, you had to go outside of that.
Oh no! Like, you got to smuggle that thing over the border. You got
to go all the way to Lids.
And the Bunny Hills Mall.
I don't know about that,
but I could totally see, like, if you grew up in that very dense urban environment, the outdoor lifestyle is not something that's just like an everyday thing, right? For those of us that grew up in the suburbs here, like, you got to drive by dirt all the time, and you're like, oh, what's in that dirt? And that's how we end up doing it. But that makes sense to me that it took a while for you to expand your expand your horizons, but like get to a point where like, hey, there's stuff out here.
Yeah. Yeah, because I mean, in San Francisco, it's like, all right, you want to go, you want to go out into the mountains. You're driving up to Tahoe, and that's like 5-6 hours.
Yeah.
So yeah, here in Seattle, we're 30 minutes away from the mountains, and so it's like, hey, we don't have anything to do this weekend, but let's pack up the truck, let's go.
Yeah.
So that I love that. Probably why I'm still here, other than being trapped by
Yeah, I mean, again, we'll talk offline on what we can do to get you shuttled out of there.
Message sent.
Blink twice. You need help.
Or, I'm sorry. Message received.
Yeah. So, what about you, Jeff? How did you get into this?
Yeah, I mean, I grew up here in the Seattle area, suburbs kid, and I think growing up here, that's just what you do. You go out and you camp and you get outdoors and you hike and you do all that. So I've always had a love for the outdoors, and then I think probably in my mid-20s, early mid-20s, some buddies of mine, they all kind of got into riding bikes, motorcycles, and so. I had a lot of FOMO, and so I ended up getting a motorcycle. And these guys, they would go for a week at a time, right? They would just go 500-600 mile days, go from here to Montana, here to Texas, here to whatever. And so I started hanging out with them. I bought a bike. I started going on trips with them, and I think I really fell in love with just the idea of the road trip. And realized that the American West is ridiculous. Like the American West is just like an embarrassment of riches when it comes to just outdoors and the terrain and the topography and everything. And so
and the access and the open free access to land that most of the country doesn't have.
Yeah, public land. And so saw some of the country that way. And in fact, when we got married, our honeymoon was a motorcycle trip to Alaska. So we rode up to Homer, Alaska.
You win, dude.
Back, and I don't know how I managed to pull that one off.
I had to drag my wife out of the house just to go to the movies this weekend. And it was like a movie I thought she wanted to see. I was like, well, let's go see Guardians. I was like, oh, this weekend? Like, jeez, man. So
cool. I loved it because all I had to do was sit on the back, take pictures. I was like, okay, cool. Yeah, I'll hang out.
Yeah.
Awesome.
It was fun. It was a lot of fun.
So I captured her from from California, brought her up here, strapped her to the back of a motorcycle, took her to Alaska, and then it all
family's like,
out.
has anybody seen Christine in the last 18 months?
Some guy on a motorcycle came over and just took her away.
There was a red light camera that caught a glimpse of the side of her face as she was flying by.
She looked happy.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, we love that. And then we got into, we bought our Lexus, basically a Land Cruiser, as anyone with a Lexus.
You don't need to brag.
It's basically a Land Cruiser. Okay. And so we bought that in 2019.
It was after you did the BDR, right?
Yes, on the motorcycle. Yeah. So we bought it in 2019, and it kind of combined so many things that we love to do, right? We love the road trip. We love the idea of adventure. We love to unplug. We live in Seattle, so getting out of the city and not having cell reception we love that. And of course, camping as well. So it kind of just combined everything. And as soon as we started doing it, we just kind of fell in love with it. And we were like, I want to do this all the time. So that was the genesis of like, I guess we want to call it overlanding, right? Whatever we want to call it. But that was really the genesis of that.
And it seems like we'll use Matt as an example. Matt started.
Please do.
I'm sorry, but Matt started on motorcycles and dirt bike, and that progression of wanting to do more and go further.
I was already pretty old too.
Yeah,
like in motorcycle terms.
Yeah, you're pretty old normal terms.
I'm behind. I'm developmentally delayed. Essentially,
he's gonna type out a complaint on his typewriter right now.
You're gonna get a sternly typed letter
as soon as I can find a stamp for this envelope
in a few months.
The ink and the quill.
Yeah. But that's a very common.
Don't make me use calligraphy.
Yeah, that's a very common progression of I want to try some things. I do some exploring on a motorcycle. Now I want to take someone with me, and I want to go multiple days. Let's move into the off-road / overlanding world. And I think we've talked to a lot of people who have similar stories in that progression. So growing up, though, I mean, you said you started. When was it that you got into the dirt bikes and stuff with your friends?
You know what's weird? What's weird about it is, are we asking Matt?
No, I'm asking you.
No, I don't know if he said dirt bikes.
No,
he just said
a road bike, bro.
Motorcycles.
If he rode a dirt bike to Alaska and around the country, that would be even more amazing.
Jose tries to ride him around the corner, and he keeps
I know
falling.
he dies. He's almost dead.
Hey, I'm 50-50, all right?
So when did you start the motorcycle thing?
It was later. It was probably not until I think I got my first bike when I was probably 28.
Okay.
So
and what was the bike?
It was a Suzuki SV650, and I love that bike. I still love that bike.
Man, I am jealous.
That's like the best first bike.
It is a great.
That's what I was looking at.
I told you to get it instead of that pile of shit you bought.
That's what I was looking at getting before I got my Ninja.
Yeah, I really like that bike. That's a really good bike. So starting in Seattle, you guys have so much around you. What's from your take? What's your favorite part to explore in that general area, starting in the Pacific Northwest? I know you guys have gone other places, but like in the 2-hour radius of your house, like where, if someone was up there in that area, where would you suggest they go?
And the 2 mile.
Look, here in Southern California, 2 miles is 2 hours. So I don't know how it's like in Seattle.
Yeah. What's your favorite Pacific Northwest destination that we hit?
I would say it's probably just outside of Greenwater in the Cascades.
Yeah.
That one's my favorite.
Yeah. I mean, in terms of access, the Cascade Mountain Range, anything in there is beautiful.
Just super easy to get to.
Yeah, and we can get there in an hour 15, hour and a half. That you can connect to, the Washington BDR if you want to, check out some of that stuff. It's tough this time of year because with the snowpack, there's not a lot that you can do in there. So through the winter and even into the spring, the Olympic Peninsula is amazing. I mean, it's beautiful. Like you have rainforest, you have mountain, you have ocean, and it's just, you can explore so much of it. And it's cool because you got the Olympic National Park, but then all around it is national forest. So you can do, we've done basically full loop around the Olympic National Park just through the national forest and connecting forest roads and things like that. So it's beautiful over there.
This just occurred to me, and it might be silly, but do you see a lot of like werewolves and vampires up there? Because I saw a movie. There was a lot of that stuff happening up there.
Were they
there was a lot of
glittery?
fighting. They were very glittery.
Well, only in the
if you
sunlight.
saw them in the sunlight. I'm just saying. I'm very curious. Did you see any werewolves or vampires?
Werewolves? They're not werewolves anymore. They're werewolves.
I wasn't sure what they were when I saw them.
They used to be werewolves, but now they're werewolves.
Werewolves.
If you drive through, what is the town? Forks.
Yeah.
If you drive through that town of
Jose
Forks.
knew.
Oh my God, Jose!
The entire
How do you not
economy of
know?
that town is just.
Yeah,
is
how do you
just
not
all
know that?
Twilight.
You could have strapped me to a chair and hooked up electrodes
But you
to
like
my
that.
body. I would not have
But you
known
like that. I don't
what
mind
town
doing
they
that.
were in.
Hey, but you know what? That's Jose's job. He knows those things.
Jose has all that info.
Well, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to make fun of you, Jose. But
So there's all that tourism. It's all people just touring that whole area.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
100%.
That is crazy. I'm looking.
Even to this day, that was a long time ago.
Yeah, bro, but that's like there's like generations growing up on those books, dude.
Yep.
They were books.
I mean,
that was a book.
Do you guys ever make it into like the Eastern Washington? I know there's a lot of desert and stuff on that side of the state. Do you guys ever go on the other side of the Cascades?
The eastern slope of the Cascades is beautiful. There's a lot of public land there. There's a lot of areas to explore there. Once you get a little bit further east, there's some pockets, but it becomes farmland pretty quick. And so there's not quite as much public land unless you get way up northeast Washington. It's a little
Closer
harder
to
to get
Canada.
to. Yeah. So,
a
a little bit.
I'm sorry. I have a question for Cody. Do you have a map open right now?
I absolutely have a map. You know I have a map open.
Oh, it's great. I love it.
I love maps.
I'm
I
hearing
can,
all these cities, but I have
I
no
can
idea
look
what
at
the hell
maps
they're
all day.
talking
Well,
about.
two things. I can look at maps all day long. I love maps. Secondly, you could name a street that's 2 blocks from my house, and I wouldn't know where that is. So I have to look it on a map to know where it's at.
Eucalyptus.
I know where that's at. So Seattle is temperature wise, you guys still have 9 months of drizzle, right? I mean, it's you guys. You don't have like
that's a pretty good emo band name.
Yeah, it is.
9 months of drizzle.
9 months of
9 months
drizzle.
of drizzle.
They opened for The Cure in 1984.
I believe it.
Well, the poster in the back looks like a Joy Division poster in there.
Oh,
in the
it does
background.
look like a Joy Division.
Yes.
But is that accurate? Is Seattle mostly crappy all the time?
Oh.
If we're talking to people from California, yes.
Because you
It
don't
rains
want
all
people.
the time.
Yes.
Don't ever come.
Don't
ever
come
come.
up here.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
I
have
already
shitty
I've
weather.
already put my house on the market, so I'll be up there running
Yeah,
this. I can't wait to go to Fork.
You got to drive through Spoon to get there.
I would say it's 3.5 months of paradise, and then the rest of it is there's like 3 months that are hit or miss, and then the rest of it is dark and gray. You combine the fact how far north we are, and then the fact that it's not the rain that gets people, it's just the gray, like the cloud cover.
But if I'm super into Morrissey and the Smiths, that's my jam, right? Like
that's your jam.
Totally.
Then
Okay.
you're in the wrong place.
Yep.
So let's go back to the Lexus. What made you choose that vehicle? Why did you, as you were transitioning from 2 wheels to 4, why did you pick that particular vehicle?
I had lusted after Land Cruisers for a while, and I lusted after 80 series Land Cruisers. I always wanted an 80 series Land
There's
Cruiser.
a support group for you, sir. There's
Yes.
no need for that.
Yes.
Jose has one for sale.
Yeah, so I had wanted an 80 series, and I started looking at it, and I realized when I was at the time I was looking, it was before Land Cruiser shot up in value. I kind of got lucky with when I bought it, and so I realized that I could get a 100 series for effectively the same price as an 80 series, and the reality of the type of travel we do is we like to do a lot of we like to go for a week or 2 weeks if we can. We like to go multiple states away, and so having that extra power, having that extra comfort, something that was a little bit more modern was super appealing. So I liked it. I was looking at Land Cruisers, and then I realized that the LX 470s were cheaper.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, the
So-
sequel wasn't out yet. Like,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
the same
Yeah.
car.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And so I was like, well, that's interesting. And so the story of that was actually, I was looking all over the place, and where I was having the best luck finding them was in California, right? So there were so many of them in California, and they were dirt cheap. And so I found one at a shady dealership. I called them up. I convinced them to hold it for me. I flew down, bought a one-way ticket. I flew down to Hayward and showed up at this dealership. And I knew as soon as I showed up to the dealership, I was like, this is not the kind of dealership you want to buy a vehicle from.
I don't have a pink slip for you, but I've got this gray slip for
I
you
got
to
this
sign.
bill of sale.
Yeah.
Totally legit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
And so
real
I-
pink slip's going to be in the mail. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. So I get down there and I'm like, I take it for a test drive, and it drove well. It was one owner. I had done all the research. I had looked up the maintenance history. It was serviced at a Lexus dealership. So I wasn't too concerned about the mileage, right? It was more like, what was the service history? And test driving, it's great. And I get back to the dealership, and I stop, and we get out, and there's just like a puddle under the driver's front tire, just a puddle of some sort of fluid. And I was like, oh man, I flew all the way down here. I don't have a flight back. Like, I'm mentally committed to buying this thing, And so I was like, hey, what's going on with this? And so they take it to the back. They have their mechanic look at it, and they make up some story about what it was. And so, again, I'm pretty much committed. So I buy the thing, and I drive it all the way home to Seattle, and it made it home just fine. And I get home, and the puddle's there again. and it turned out it needed a new steering rack. So that was like my first week with it was buy it, bring it up here, and put it in a new steering rack. But but it's been good since, and it was it was a lot cheaper than I would have got it for up here. So
Yeah.
Jose, is that important?
Mine doesn't have a steering rack.
He
okay.
he hasn't done anything with he hasn't done anything with his rack in forever.
Jose, how many steering racks have you replaced?
I've replaced one power steering pump.
Yeah.
Okay.
Going back to that, like we give Jose shit about his 80 series, but it is an amazing vehicle. The only
I call it the monolith
Yeah.
because it's always behind you. Like he's the tail gunner on our trail trips, and he's always there. He's like an imposing, like again, monolith from like 2001 Space Odyssey, that big black scary thing. That's Jose.
The only thing I borrowed his truck for an event one time, and I had to drive it home, and the only thing was the floorboard needs to be about 7 inches deeper so that you can get that gas pedal further down because it's slow as shit. It was so slow. It drove me. I was going to change lanes, and then I slammed on the gas to try to change lanes. Went, nope, I'll wait. I'll have to wait. It's like, so the idea of getting that vehicle with a little bit bigger engine and modern amenities is I think you made a good choice. What have you done to the vehicle since you got it? Have you done anything major?
In terms of maintenance and general upkeep, I actually have a video about this, and it almost made me cry when I tallied up all the things that I had to do and all the the cost of it, just the maintenance and everything, because we're not easy on it, right? We're off pavement most of the time, so there's been a fair amount of maintenance just to keep it running well. We end up 4 states away and in the middle of nowhere, so keeping it maintained is important. In terms of modifications, some 33-inch tires, rock sliders, skid plates, recovery points. That's basically it.
And then that thing will go absolutely anywhere in that exact configuration.
Yeah.
What's been your favorite part about the vehicle?
It's those long trips where it just does everything well, right? The trip on the freeway down is smooth and comfortable and quiet. Cushy leather seats. Like I feel like I should be wearing a monocle driving that thing around.
And a top hat.
Yeah, and a top hat. It should look like Mr. Peanut, basically.
Exactly.
Driving gloves.
I swear, if I don't see a video of Mr. Peanut in your Lexus in the next week,
missed
Giving us
opportunity.
ideas for content.
I need to get a Mr. Peanut
yes,
costume
with a scarf. Throw the scarf back and drive.
Yes.
That's a marketing crossover right there.
Yeah,
You're
That's just a
welcome.
normal Land Cruiser owner attire.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, hold
Indiana
on.
Jones.
Let's go into that. I don't know how long you've owned your Land Cruiser, but
The older the Land Cruiser, the more
credit you have.
No, the more prestigious the
Okay, prestige
outfit.
credit. Yeah.
the outfit, or the more ridiculous the outfit is.
So we did the Mojave Trail 2 weeks ago, and at one of our stops, which is just like this weird mine, in the middle
Mine
of
house.
Yeah, it's in the middle of Mojave Desert. And another Land Cruiser pulls up, and it's like, actually, were there two or just the one?
It was just the one.
But these two older couples, and I know, I'm going to say older couple, knowing that I'm pretty old, but they were older than me, white hair, whatever. They come out, and they're like, the guy was like full on Indiana Jones. Like he had like the, you know what I'm saying? Like Indiana Jones outfit.
A fold up on the hat.
Kind of like the vest
all
with
of
like
the
all the
pockets.
pockets and shit in it,
There's not one thing in those fucking pockets, dude.
No.
Khaki from head to toe.
Exactly. And I'm like,
the
Jose.
khaki socks up to his knees.
Jose.
One of them had a satchel or something like that.
Yes, of course, with like some documents or something. I'm sure there was some documents in there or notes.
Maps.
Bag
I
of
don't know.
sand.
The bag of sand to like put on the, when you take the
Yeah.
idol and you have to put the sand on. You guys know what I'm talking about.
You're
And I was
giving
like,
Jeff ideas. I think he's probably gonna
Jeff
get
already
all
has.
this
He already has these ideas.
How long have
He's
you
got
owned your Land Cruiser?
He's got
Jeff?
some of those things, but I think now he's like, oh, I got to piece all these together.
Well,
No,
speaking
I'm
of
telling you.
Mojave Road, we were in the Mojave Road. We did the Mojave Road last
Last
year,
year.
and you guys have been to the lava tubes there, right?
Yes.
Mhm.
multiple
Of course.
That's like the most Indiana Jones thing I've ever seen. Indiana Jones movie in real life, right there. I hope those guys. I want to see those guys in that lava tube.
Okay, so I don't know. They were pretty old. I don't know if they could make it down to the lava tubes. That staircase is kind of sketchy, but still, the attire that they were in, I was like, Jose, God, these are your people. They're in Land Cruisers. When do you get that outfit? Like
5 years, you gotta own. You got to be a 5-year owner. I'm 1 year away, and then I'll be able to start wearing that kind of stuff.
So that's our question to you, Jeff.
Indiana Jose.
Yeah.
How many
years have you had your Land Cruiser, and when do you qualify to wear your Indiana Jones outfit?
Well, I think we've had it for 4 years, and but I don't think Indiana Jones is my direction. I think I'm going to go with more of a Steve Irwin style.
Yeah, Outback.
Ooh,
okay. Australian
I'm going to go
Outback.
Australian Outback. Yeah.
Same
shorts.
Different side of the same coin.
Yeah.
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 You know, you guys are the Land Cruiser owners. I don't want to impose like my misunderstandings on you guys. You inform me, and that's great to know because I would certainly be the Steve Irwin route myself for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, with the shorts, like with all the
killed by a
pockets.
stingray. Like that's your.
You don't have to bring that stuff up, dude.
Who's
That's pretty yummy, dude.
So you guys, when you
Way to bring the show down. Nobody's happy about that.
No, of course not. When you guys are out, like you talk about going on multi-day trips. What kind of gear or setup are you using for like sleeping situations and kitchen and all that thing?
Oh, this is going to be controversial. You want to tell them what our sleeping situation is?
We ground camp.
Nice.
Ground camp.
Nice.
I'm down with that.
I'm all about that.
Yeah.
Not you're not going to get any
pushback
you're
here.
Hey, you're chasing your adventure, and that's all that matters.
Yeah. There has been a 4-year discussion, tough discussion, argument.
We're talking rooftops,
trailers, ground tents,
ground.
sleeping in the truck. And every one of us has been in some version of that at some point and about to go back to the other way. So it's, whatever works, that's our thing is like.
I'm a ground tent guy, and I just slept in my truck the last time. Like, you know what? I don't even want to pull this damn tent out. I'm just going to sleep in my truck. And it was
Jeff did that in the winter because he's like, hey, I want to go on a 1-night camping trip. And it was like January. And I was like, oh, hell no. I'm like, I'm going to be at home. It's warm. And so he tried to set something up in the back.
It was awesome. Sleeping in the truck is underrated. Like maybe, for 2 people, a little tougher to pull off probably.
Yeah.
You have to take a bunch of stuff out. But for one person, like I had my sleeping bag set up. I had everything set up, a little sleeping platform. And it was like, roll into camp. I didn't have anything to do. It was great.
Even
amazing.
like I have a pickup truck, and even in that, like you get into the passenger seat, pull your sleeping bag up over you, fold the seat back, boom. Like it's like sleeping in the recliner in your living room. It's I've done it multiple times.
You park on an incline, so you get that extra.
Oh, that's pro tip.
That's hey, pro tip. Look for an incline so you could get that extra inclination and whatever. So you could say
Decline.
You know what I'm saying? So
Recline.
Recline.
Make the truck tilt.
So here's a question. Here's a question for all of you then. So if the appeal of a rooftop tent is ease of setup, right? How quickly you can set it up and tear it down and how convenient it is. Why does sleeping in the truck always get so overlooked?
Well, I think it depends on the type of rooftop tent, though.
Yes, it depends on the type of rooftop.
And the type of rig. An SUV is easy to crawl inside, but a truck bed, you're exposed.
And people. So when I go on long trips, I've usually got my wife, my daughter, and a dog, right? And trying to find a place for each one of those people in the truck is a little bit difficult. We did a week-long family road trip where we
to Area 51
down in the Southwest here. And we, popped open the tent. Everybody fit. Everybody slept comfortably. It was the way to go. I think for one person, like you said, maybe 2 people, sleeping inside the truck is totally doable. But if it's extended periods of time or it's more 2 people or more, I think it just makes it more difficult.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And for me, I'm old now and I'm crusty and I'm tired. I don't want to have to fold up a tent and all the other crap, like unload the truck and whatever. If I pack light and it's like, okay, I can get to my barbecue and I get to my clothes and, whatever, I'll just sleep in the truck. If I'm bringing my kids, then it's like, okay, the tent has to get set up and all that accoutrement. But I'll tell you what, those kids are going to help me pack that shit back up. Man, I'm not getting down on my knees, folding up that tarp and that tent again. You boys get down there and do that stuff for me,
We've thought about doing a rooftop tent, but it's like everything when it comes to the truck. You add one thing, but it really means you're going to have to add 7 other things to make that one thing.
Jose always says, like, there's been times where we've acquired things for free, and Jose always says nothing's free because the minute
anything you get for free ends up costing.
You. So I totally agree with that, and it changed. Like, it drastically changed the putting the KC built a custom rack for my truck, and there's a rooftop tent on it. It drastically changed the way I drive my truck on the dirt. It absolutely changes the way you wheel that truck.
Yeah, Casey has that rooftop tent too on the bed of his truck, and he, it totally changed his style too, from bombing the desert to kind of just cruising now.
Yeah, and there's pros and cons. I wish that there was a very easy, reliable way to put it on, take it off, swap it out, whatever. But that solution doesn't exist right now.
I think the closest thing to that is that wedge style camper on a truck.
Yeah.
But even then, it's it's kind of permanent on there.
Yeah.
Like, where are you gonna take that off and put it on there? But
yeah, our buddy has a Tacoma and he's got a Go Fast camper on the back. And I will say, when we roll up to camp and we're like getting the bin out and getting the tent out and setting the tent up, and we just watch him like get out and just like with a finger raise his tent and then sit down in his chair. I'm always like, damn it.
Yeah. Most of the time I sleep in the back of my Land Cruiser, and every time we get to camp, you see everyone unpack, especially Cody. Cody takes like an hour to unpack.
My
Dude,
God.
I've gotten so much better. I have gotten so much better.
He has this like air mattress that takes up like 80%.
I don't even bring that anymore.
Did you see the bed of his truck on Mojave?
Oh my God.
Dude, I had 2 containers and a refrigerator in my truck. That's all I had in the back of my truck. Oh, and
but you had to pull like 4 boxes out to get to it. Like, it was an entire system.
Yes, there's definitely.
I literally just open up my tailgate in the hatch and I just sit there and I watch everybody. I'm like, man, that sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good feeling, right? It's a good feeling when you're just like done and everybody else is scrambling to set everything up. Yeah.
When you're setting up camp and it's like, hey, anybody need cocktails? And it's
like, what?
What? You're already done. Yeah, I'm already 2 cocktails in. Like,
yeah.
So when you guys go on your trips, like, how do you guys work full time? Like, how do you work that out where you're able to go for extended periods of time without faking you being sick for work?
We are our own bosses.
Oh.
So,
Okay, so
are you guys hiring?
Yeah.
I'm the boss.
She's the boss. So.
That's even better.
She has the idea. She's like, hey, we should go on vacation. I just say yes.
Okay.
Great idea.
Again, are you guys hiring?
Yes.
You're really smart.
Yes. Somehow Jeff wins. I don't know. Thanks, guys. Have a good night. Bye.
Yeah, I'm done with these guys.
Yeah. Over it. Over it. Well, that
I can't hear you again.
Yes. That makes it. That definitely makes it easier to be able to do that. What's
trying to set ourselves up so that when we do have to work, like at some point, if we end up doing much longer trips, because the goal is to essentially be location independent, we got Starlink and we'll be accessible to our employees when we're needed, but we really try to set everybody up so they don't need us.
What are your thoughts on Starlink? Because I mean, that's been a game changer as far as giving you connectivity when you're outdoors, but that's like the whole point of going outdoors is you're trying to disconnect. What have you guys? What's your experience been like with the Starlink?
We haven't gone one yet.
Oh, okay. I thought you guys had it already.
Well, so
yeah, no, that's the goal.
My argument to that, Jose, is if you are us, where you have a house and you work all day long and during the week and you go out, yes, you want to disconnect. But when you're out is now full time. There's no differentiation.
Now you've ruined out.
Yeah, but so last week when we did Mojave, we had access to a Starlink, and it was weird because everyone was on their phones. Everyone that was connected was on their phones now. It's like, dude, that's not the point of being out here. It's like
you just need more discipline.
But that was why.
But
that was how we pissed off the neighbors next
right.
door, is because
That's
we were
right.
able to stream music and play it very loud. So
but
I
if
see
being
that as a
connected
positive.
allows you to be out longer,
Yeah.
See, that's the flip side to it. If you can work from the road, that means you can be out on the road even more. So I mean, it's a
Right.
give and take, I guess.
What's the
Like I think
Go ahead.
I think about these, some of these campsites that we all end up at, right? Like we just ended up at one. If you guys have been to Alstrom Point in Utah, most beautiful campsite we've ever been to, overlooking Lake Powell. And I was just thinking as we were there, I'm like, I would just give anything to just be here for 4 days, 3-4 days, just set up internet, set up a little workspace, and just hang out and be able to work and be able to just be out here for longer. But I agree with Jose for sure. Like right now when we travel, I do not like it when we end up somewhere for the night and there's cell phone reception. Like I do not like that at all, because I'm not disciplined at all. And if I have cell service, I'm going to check my email. I'm going to check my phone. I'm going to do it. And so, it'll be interesting to see. I think it is totally a double-edged sword, but the idea being, if we can be out, for a week or two at a time, and we can work while we're out, then that's what we're hoping for. But be an interesting change.
What's the longest trip you guys have done so far?
2 weeks.
Whoa, where'd you go there?
We've done a couple. Utah was the first one, right?
Yeah, we did Utah 2 years ago.
That's Utah and Colorado.
Utah and Colorado. So we started out, we did the White Rim Trail, which to this day, by the way, is the most amazing overland experience we've had. I mean, that trail is amazing. So we did the White Rim Trail, then we took the Rim Rocker Trail, connected over to Colorado, and then we spent and we were in Telluride and Ouray, and we did some of the passes up there, and so that was 2 years ago. And then we went to Southern California last year for 2 weeks, did the Mojave Desert, did Death Valley, Eastern Sierra, and then we just got back from Utah again. About 2 weeks ago we got back.
Yeah,
2 weeks ago we got back. We started around Zion and worked our way over to Moab.
Oh yeah, Zion's amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, I did Zion and just like we're on our way to Yellowstone. It was probably like 20 years ago.
See Yogi?
I'm sorry,
Jellystone.
Isn't that Jellystone?
yeah, that's Jellystone.
Forks.
I get Yellowstone and Yosemite confused a lot because they're similar in sound. Whatever. We were on our way to Yellowstone. We stopped through Zion, and it was like, God, I could spend at least 2 weeks up in this area. It's beautiful.
Yeah, Utah's amazing. I wasn't expecting anything when we went a couple years ago, and I remember so many people saying, "Oh my God, you're going to Moab? It's the most beautiful place in the world." I'm like, it's the desert. Like, how beautiful can the desert be? And then you get there, and it's like, oh my God.
Yeah, it's.
I don't know.
Like,
I feel like
nothing else you've ever seen.
I feel like it's been like oversaturated.
Have you been there?
No.
Okay, then shut your hole.
But I've seen enough videos, and I'm like, well, I mean, to be fair, all I ever see is just the two rubber marks on the
fins
red rock.
Fins and things.
Like,
and
I don't
whatever.
know. No, I don't see anything else.
But in person, like the landscape that you're looking at when you get to Moab is unlike. Like I grew up here in Southern California. Everything's brown desert or almost green mountains, and you get out to Moab. And the color of the mountains and the shapes and the sunsets, you're like, this is a whole nother planet. It is absolutely gorgeous. Sedona, Arizona is a very, very similar landscape to that. And it's,
there's vortices there too.
There is. We tried to go to the vortices when we were there.
Yeah,
Tammy thought if we went to the vortex, it would make me better, and it didn't work.
That was my
ex-wife. We're actually both 90 years old, but we hit that vortex.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what my ex-wife was trying to tell me about, and we're not married anymore, so maybe she was right.
We went to the wrong vortex, bro.
Yeah,
she was like, "It's right there, right over that rock. There's a vortex over there." I'm like,
I ain't walking.
All right, let's go back to the room. That's a beautiful rock, though. Yes.
Where it sounds like you guys have covered a lot of the, we'll call it West Coast / from the ocean to the Rockies. Where's the farthest destination you've gone to?
Colorado. Yeah. The San Juan Mountains, I think, is the furthest we made it.
Damn. I mean, he bought this Land Cruiser. You guys bought this Land Cruiser in 2019. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude,
This is some bullshit.
Yeah, what are we
This
doing?
is
dude?
absolute bullshit.
Yeah. Absolutely nothing, Jose.
Yeah, apparently that's why I'm getting into motorcycles. Because, dude,
I'm super bummed right now, man. I've been wheeling since I was 19 years old, and just so you know, that's 112 years ago. And I haven't done half the shit you guys have done. That's amazing.
Right.
I'm super like just the like, hey, we're gonna do this. Okay, let's do this, and you're doing it. Like,
dude,
you guys are just.
Dude, you don't have a job. You can go do it right now.
I am kind of.
You can do it right now.
I am busier now in unemployment than I have been in any of my jobs. It's stupid.
Wow.
The laundry doesn't do itself, Matt. I don't know what to tell you.
I thought like just the gnomes came out like in the middle of the night and they put your clothes
Laundry
in the
doesn't do
basket.
itself. No. And someone's got to apply.
Laundry
for it.
fairy.
Yeah,
we
I
definitely
thought
have to step up our destination game.
Yes,
though,
we
'cause,
suck.
we keep going to the same places every year, and
Yeah.
we need
I
to-
think it's kind of like, for us, it's kind of an addiction. Like we did, I remember the first big trip that we did was our honeymoon. It was going to Alaska, and the amount of research and prep and what we did going into that, and all the things that we worried about and how hard we thought it was going to be. And, there's always adversity, when you travel and things like that. But once we did it and got back, like, that wasn't so bad. And then we planned the next trip and it was a little easier. Like this trip that we just came back from in Utah, it was just like, oh, it's 2 weeks away. We should probably maybe like figure out what we want to do.
What are we gonna pack? What's the weather gonna be?
Yeah, and it just gets to do, and you kind of try and see like, well, could we go a little further? Could we do a little more? Could we? I don't know. It definitely feels easier each time for sure.
So for me, like if I were to plan trips, which I really don't, Cody tells us where we're going. It's like, okay, sounds good. But if I were to do it, it'd be around.
I feel you, Cody. I'm that one. I'm the one
you're number one, pal. I would center most of my trips around Walmart, and everybody knows this. You know what? The Walmarts are everywhere. There's always a Walmart around the corner. I'm sure there was probably a Walmart in Alaska when he went up there, and that's an amazing thing. Like we should really take that.
We're gonna
Let's
see how many Walmarts we can hit in the Southwest.
No, dude, I guarantee you it'd be a great trip.
Is based on whether there's a Walmart.
That's right. Like within a 5. You know what? Screw it. 10-mile radius of the world. We'll find some amazing trails and good times. Tell me Parker wasn't like one of the best trips, and Walmart was 5 minutes away. It was great.
Yeah,
I gotta go to the bathroom. Oh, I'm gonna go take a shit in this bucket, or I'm gonna go to Walmart. Dude, you wheeled to Walmart. You were there in 7 minutes. You did your business. You cleaned yourself up. You were back at the campsite.
Who was it that didn't pack
half hour max?
Somebody didn't even pack food. They just went into Walmart every night.
That was Matt.
Yeah,
that was Matt.
I'm gonna go get a burrito from Walmart for dinner, like every night.
That's right. Where'd Matt go? There's a McDonald's in the Walmart. He went for breakfast. He went to McDonald's.
But look, we're
You guys are
doing
talking
it.
like
We're doing it wrong.
It's the whole Starlink.
We're
conversation
doing it
again,
wrong.
This is the best trip. Was that the best trip?
It was pretty good.
It was good.
dude. Best trip I've ever been on.
Where do you want to
Sorry,
go? Like,
Jose.
what's your aspirational? We want to get here somehow.
I think what we've talked about is Baja. I think doing Baja would be a great trip.
That's come up a lot recently.
That's it. Fuck it. We're going to Baja, dude.
We're doing Baja, guys.
Your passport's ready.
Australia.
Yeah, I feel like it'd be a soft landing in the
Australia?
international.
That's where I wanted to
Whoa.
go. It's on the list. I didn't say it was going to be like the next trip. But
Do I have to buy? Wait, can I'm assuming you've done some research. Can I bring my truck to Australia, or is
Nah,
it just
dude, you buy a Land Cruiser. You buy a Land Cruiser down there.
Dude,
and
you
just cruise it.
drop that thing in Australia, they're gonna laugh at you.
I don't even know. Could you
stop
even
it.
buy a Land Cruiser in Australia? Like, there's like a 3-year wait for those things right now.
Really?
What?
No, you'd have to buy. No, you buy a used one, like
Yeah,
90s
you buy, but
one.
you're gonna pay.
It's the same
I think
shit.
I heard you pay more for a used land, like a used 79 there, than you buy. 10-year-old used 79 is more than a new 79.
Well, any 79 series, they're all the same. An 80,
Yeah.
an 85, and a 2023. It's the same truck. So, don't worry. You're not.
I
missing
want
out.
one. I want one bad.
Yeah, I agree. I think Baja would be a great trip, and there's even groups that put those trips together that you can sign up for and go. We were just talking a couple weeks ago. We were talking about there's there's a place in Texas where you can like walk across the border to go for lunch.
Oh, that's right.
And like you can just wheel it down into Texas and then walk across the border and get some lunch.
Oh, you got to get on a boat.
Yeah, you got to
Remember
cross
he
the
was
river.
like
It's
the
a
last
little
boat is
ferry.
at 5 o'clock.
It's a little
So if you
ferry,
miss
yeah.
it, you're stuck
But,
in Mexico.
Jose said, look, I don't know if you noticed, but Jose can speak Spanish. And he said he's going to put together a Baja trip. So we'll just
I'll
wait.
do it, dude.
Do it. Make
Tell
it
us
happen.
when.
One of us
Yeah,
may
for
not
real.
be coming back, but I'm just saying it's probably the best trip you guys ever
We'll play that game of roulette. That's
Yeah.
fine.
For the other two,
Yeah.
yeah, an amazing trip.
It sounds like it'll probably be Matt because I don't think they have Walmarts down there. So.
I think they do have
Yeah,
Walmarts
yeah.
down
Thank
there.
you. There?
I think so.
Matt will end
Take
up.
that,
I will
Jeff.
find it.
Yeah,
No.
Matt will end up at the Walmart and go like, everything is so cheap here. I'm never going home. Funny story. Like, so growing up in Southern California and Christine going to San Diego State, you probably have some stories, but it used to be just like. It
Are
just
we
used to be-
talking TJ?
It used to be just like Friday night, Saturday night, we're gonna go down to TJ.
Oh,
And
my
I remember like you do the whole
She's
thing.
like, cut the feed, cut the feed, cut the feed.
you park,
You're cutting out.
yeah, you park, you go across the border, the whole thing.
Revolution Street, baby.
Revolution Street. And I remember my buddy, giant dorky
Sorry, I
white
think
dude.
it's pronounced Revolucion.
Revolution. The first thing that happens when you get across the border is the kids. They're selling you whatever they can sell, and they're selling. They try to sell him gum, chicle,
Yeah.
and he's like, all right, how much? And she was like $1, whatever. And this jackass pulls $20 out of his pocket, hands it to this 7-year-old as if she's gonna count out change. She hands him 2 pieces of gum, grabs the 20, and like a
runs.
ninja, you can't find her after that. Boom, she's gone. And that was our first experience in TJ. It was amazing.
Well, yeah, I equate that to at the AV playing blackjack, and I blew $100, and I got one Heineken. So it's just, and I knew it was going to happen. I knew what I was getting into. That's what happens.
Okay, so Jose's gonna plan the Baja trip. We'll let you know when we're doing it.
Yeah.
Where else? Anywhere else like inside the states? Maybe eastern side. You want to try to get to?
You know, I haven't really, to be honest, I haven't really thought much beyond the Rockies.
Yeah,
I think there's just
same.
I always kind of, and maybe that's a mistake on my part.
Oh,
but I
no.
always
Once you
think
get past
about-
the Rockies, nothing matters till you hit the East Coast.
right
Yeah.
west of the Rockies. So I don't know, maybe the Ozarks would be fun.
Oh yeah.
That could be
we got
a good time.
the guys from Express Rally Overland are down in that southern area, Tennessee, right?
Yeah, Tennessee
area.
East,
And they
or
do
West
some
Florida.
Kansas, no?
somewhere
Yeah.
It's all,
Yeah.
it's all the same to me.
somewhere north of Katrina
Look,
damage.
these guys, all right?
And
These guys.
yeah, they talk about the Ozarks and all the stuff that's down there. And what's being a Southern California kid, like you don't know anything past the Rockies. You know what I mean? Like once you get past Arizona, it's all flat as far as you're concerned. But there's a lot of wheeling out there that people go out and adventure in, and there's a
I
lot.
drove through Texas once, and it was like 3 days. Like you enter Texas, and you're like, oh shit, I'm in Texas, and you're driving, and you're driving, and you're driving,
Still in Texas?
and you're driving, and you're driving, and you're driving, and it's like Louisiana. Holy shit, I've been in Texas this whole damn time. It's been like
But it's
fucking days.
It's this if you try to go from San Diego north in California, it's the same experience.
Yeah, but you're sitting there the whole time. It's like, you're probably working on your phone, that's 80 miles.
Yeah.
San Diego to LA.
What's your next trip? What do you have? Do you have anything planned coming up?
Usually this time of year we try to stay here in the Pacific Northwest because that's when the weather's beautiful.
Yeah.
So we don't really have a whole lot of big long trips. Bend might be the furthest.
Yeah, we'll probably do Overland Expo, Pacific Northwest, and
Yeah.
Bend. But really, this time of year, like Christine said, it's just so beautiful here. We have such a limited window that we don't want to leave. 2 years ago, when we did Utah, we did it in the dumbest way you could possibly do it. We did it in August. We're like, let's go to Utah and let's leave Washington, where it's 85 degrees and beautiful. Let's go to Utah, where it's a hellscape. That'll be fun. And
Yes.
so
That sounds like our trips.
yeah. So at this point, I think the next 4 months or so will be just just in the Pacific Northwest. There's so much to see here. There's so many places to go that we haven't seen yet that it's always fun to check those off the list.
Let's transition a little bit to the social media stuff. So like I had said at the opening, I was just captivated by the way you guys film your things and tell your stories, and it's very interesting. I feel like you tell stories in a way that you're like, oh, well, what happens next? And I want to know what's going on. Tell me about that. Like, when did that start? Do you have any background in social media, or is this something you're learning as you go?
It's something that we're learning as we go.
Okay.
As a business owner, we have to have social media, and I think that's kind of where our background stems from. Honestly, I tell everybody if I didn't have a business, I wouldn't be on social media. But I think because of just what I've done on social media for my business, it's helped us, I think, do what we're doing for Where to Next Overland a lot faster. And so I think that we've learned over the years. And I think that when it comes to the storytelling and the videos and the stuff that we share, it really started when we got a drone. We bought a drone
from Costco.
On
a whim, we were there. We were like, a drone, that would be cool.
We're like, let's get it.
We should get one of those.
And then we got it. And we started recording stuff, and I was like, what do we do with all this?
Yeah,
they're just gonna sit on the computer. Well, that's dumb.
Well, that's exactly what we've been doing for 7 years. So
watching on your phone, you're like, man, this is cool.
And our friends and family were like, what are you doing? Like, where are you going? What are you doing? Like, we don't even know what's overlanding. Like, we can't even imagine what you all are doing. And so Jeff started putting these videos together with the drone footage and sharing it with our friends and family. And then it just, I think, snowballed from there, because once you get a drone, then you need a camera. Then you get one camera. You're like, well, this is not good enough. I need to get another camera.
Well,
and this lens, I need another lens.
Yeah.
And I need one for video.
And I have both
now I want to do night lapses and astrophotography. So now you need this one. It's like, oh my God. So we just end up getting hobbies that cost a lot of money.
Yeah.
You're like, this is where all our money goes. See, look at these videos.
Yeah.
So I
Whoa, Jose.
Yeah, but what I like about
Get off my back.
But what I like about that is that it's a hobby that you both seem passionate about, and you're both like, yes, let's do this. You just made the comment like, oh, on a whim at Costco, we decided to buy this drone. Like, it wasn't Matt going, come on, babe. You know what I could do with a drone, and it would mean so much. And then she would say the last drone you had was gone in 30 seconds
Matt's
because you don't know how to fly a drone. So, but I mean, like, it seems like.
Can I at least correct the where you embellish there? I didn't ask to buy the drone. I just got it.
But
yes, it flew away and it didn't come back.
You turned
use.
You turned it on and it flew away from your house.
It wasn't my first use. It was like third or fourth. But if I were to buy another drone, yes, I probably have to ask for permission.
100%. But my point being is, like, you know, all of us have hobbies and things, and the ability for you guys to do it together and get excited about it and participate and go, yeah, let's go do this, and let's go spend 2 weeks living out of a car. I mean, that's super cool. You know, you guys are very fortunate to have that. I'm super impressed with the way you guys seem to both have equal amounts of passion for this adventure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I don't ask questions. I'm just like, Justine's down. Let's do it. Yes. This is great. Don't ask questions.
It's just such a nice change up from our everyday lives that I'm always like, yes, let's get out of here. Let's do something. And I love doing things that most people are like, you can't do that. Or I mean, that sounds cool, but I could never do that.
Yeah.
I was like, well, okay, let's do it, and let's show you that it's actually doable.
Yeah. And you guys, so going back to that, your videos make it very accessible. Your vehicle is mildly built. You're not in an Earth Roamer, $100,000 Earth Roamer with all of the amenities.
Funny, dude. They're not $100,000. They're like
They're way more
They're
than that.
gonna be pushing $500,000 at least, right?
Used.
$500,000.
It's used and it's got a flat tire. That's where I found it. Whatever.
and it's got fluid leaking out of
Yeah,
it.
it's got fluid leaking out of the front. But I've already flown down there. I'm committed to buying it.
Keep your eye out on some fluid leaking earth roamers.
Look, so that, you know what? I'm gonna my next vehicle. I don't give a shit what it is. My next vehicle is gonna be somewhere out of state, so that I can tell my wife, babe, I've already flown.
I'm already
here.
I'm committed.
I have
Already
committed
committed.
to it.
I'm mentally committed.
It's $40,000 more than I thought it was gonna be, but I don't have a flight home.
I mean, think about it. Think about it. If you buy a one-way ticket anywhere to go look at a vehicle, how shitty does that vehicle have to be for you not to buy it?
Fucking A. That's
Apparently not that shitty.
That's how I'm gonna buy a motorcycle. It's like, oh, I had to fly somewhere, so I had to get it. Sorry, honey.
Yep, absolutely. Because
I
I would have
like
been
it.
like, shit.
That's my new strategy.
What's the Uber going to be? Actually, know what I would have done in your situation? I've been
Look,
like,
I can get an Uber. It's gonna cost me $6,000. For the motorcycle, only $4,900. You tell me.
I would have been like, hey, see that puddle right there? Yeah, can you give me a ride to the Toyota dealership? I'm gonna buy a new 4Runner. But again, go back. I'm like, you guys make it very accessible. You the way you talk about the adventures, you're not crawling over, house-sized boulders. You're just out on a trail exploring new territories and sharing it with people to be like, hey, check this out. Look what we found.
Yeah, and that's intentional. I mean, I think that obviously, overlanding is whatever it is to everybody, and everybody's got a different idea of what it is, and that's all cool. But I think so many of the channels that you see now, especially a lot of the big channels, it's like it's become total rock crawling. You have a V8 swapped Gladiator on 40s, right, or whatever, and it's just like, it's super cool, but it becomes pretty inaccessible at that point. All these builds are over $100,000.
Yeah,
and if that's what you want to do, then you need a rig that's that built. But I think for most people, that just want to get out, and they want to get out into the backcountry, and they want to go out on forest roads, and they want to get out. Like it's we always laugh because you can't count the number of times that we're somewhere and we're on a moderately bumpy forest road, and you get to the top and you're feeling pretty good about yourself, and what's sitting up there is like a bone stock Prius.
Yes. Like a Volkswagen Jetta.
Yeah. Do you know what we always joke is the car you see out there, you never see them anywhere else, but for some reason, like a Toyota Matrix.
Yes.
Everywhere out there. Like, I think you only buy a Toyota Matrix if you're trying to go off road.
Yes, 100%.
If you're trying to kick the shit out of it.
trying to get the lemon law to kick in on this Matrix. I'm going to take it out in the Mojave.
But I think that's the problem with like all the big YouTube channels right now. It's like they have all these crazy builds, and it's skewing the perception.
They
of
separate
people.
themselves.
Yeah.
Well, no. It's like people that I want to get into. They're like, oh, I need to buy a Rubicon Gladiator, and then I got to swap out the axles, and I got to put 40s on it. But it's like, dude, most people, like, for most of these trails that most people do, like, you just need a stock anything.
Not anything, right? Yeah.
And that's what we tell people all the time. It's like, you just get a truck and get out there and see what you're going to need. Sometimes you don't actually even know, or you think you know what you're going to need. And then you end up just like building and building and building. And then you like never get the truck out. And it's like, dude, just go and see what you need.
Yeah. We all the time, our philosophy is always run what you brung, like whatever you got, let's go get dirty and have some fun, and go drive your vehicle in stock form for a while and figure out what kind of wheeling you want to do, because the kind of wheeling you want to do will determine what your build will look like. And the last thing you want to do is buy X suspension the day after you get your truck, only to find out it's not going to be adequate for what you want to do, or you spent 4 times more than you needed to for what you're going to do. And I agree with Jose that
in SoCal that still works. Like, it's all show. Like, how many times Tacoma's on Kings, and it's like, that's a $7,000 suspension. Have you ever taken it off road?
Why would I do that?
Oh yeah, I'm not doing that. I like the way the blue shocks look on my lifted truck.
Yeah. Well, here it's like, it's Tacomas and 4Runners and Rubicon Wranglers and Gladiators, but you know how many of them have pristine paint?
Yeah.
That's the tell. because especially in the Pacific Northwest, if you don't have pinstripes all over the place, then you're not getting out and doing anything.
You're a mall crawler.
I was just having a conversation with a buddy that's like talking about getting into this kind of stuff, and he was talking about getting a truck, and I was like, just don't get black. He's like, why not? Because it won't be black. It'll just be like gray stripes. I said, you look at my white truck from a distance, it looks like a brand new truck. Don't get close though.
Don't get close.
So how, as you guys have learned this social media thing and put this content out, what's been the reception from people? Like, what kind of feedback have you been getting from people on your content?
I think that generally, it's funny. So what I really enjoy doing is I really enjoy putting together, long form videos, long form being, whatever, 12 to 20 minute long videos. And I think we've kind of built a pretty cool community. I mean, it's people are very supportive. People are very, I think appreciative of a lot of the, we try to make content about, if you want to get started overlanding, here's some things to look at. If you want to find great campsites, here's some tools that you can use. People always ask, you go and you find a cool campsite and everybody's like, can you give me coordinates? No, I'm not going to give you coordinates to the campsite. Because one, now that campsite's going to be just flooded with people. But two, like that's part of the fun. You got to go out and you got to find cool spots. So trying to help people who want to get started, just lower that barrier. Like we were talking about, you don't need a built out rig. You don't need, a bunch of gear. And so that's been cool. And it always feels really good when we get somebody who's like, yeah, my family and I are just getting into this. We just got our, a 4Runner and we want to get out. Can I go here if I'm stock? And it's like, yeah, absolutely. Just get out and have a good time.
You can go anywhere. If you get to a point where you can't go, stop. Like just go.
Right.
Like,
Hey, this is where we're camping tonight.
Yes. Hey, we'll camp here and then we'll turn around.
But just like perfect example, like the Mojave Road, right? It's like one of the overlanding staples.
Yeah.
But you can do it in almost any vehicle.
Almost any vehicle. Yeah. Even we've even said like, if you've got some skills in a 2-wheel drive truck, there's only a couple spots where you'd really have to work it to get through. And we've seen people do it we had a stock 4Runner. What year was it?
Like a 95?
Yeah, like a stock 95 4Runner.
Like on street tires.
Yes, on minimal, like that is one of those trails where the Mojave in general, you could go out and spend 6 days in the Mojave in a stock 4-wheel drive vehicle.
Renegade.
A Jeep Renegade. The first time Matt did it was in a Jeep Renegade. Stock Jeep Renegade.
I mobbed the shit out of it.
He damn near drove the tires off it.
Pretty much destroyed it. But you could spend 5-6 days out there just exploring.
I think your sister destroyed it officially, but
the Renegade.
I don't want to get too
similar to you.
I've been destroyed.
She's destroyed you officially.
That hurt.
I know that was a good one though. I feel good about that one. That's a soundbite for the hot takes.
I'll allow it.
So what's next? Like, what you guys are doing all these trips and exploring, and you're getting comfortable and being able to go further, and you're building up this knowledge and skill set in the social media and video production. What kind of things do you guys want to do next, or do you know?
What's funny is I have a lot of weird ideas that I want to do just because they're fun. Like I grew up watching Top Gear. I was like obsessed with the show Top Gear. And so I've got this plan for this summer. We got a couple friends. We've all got kind of, varying levels of dumb sports cars. And I want to do like overlanding and sports cars video or series. And because there's like, you could even do it in that. I mean, depending on your definition of overlanding, but you can find some beautiful forest service roads that are paved. You can find dispersed camping right off those roads. There's nobody out there. So like, I've got a lot of dumb ideas like that kicking around in my head.
Our buddy 2Jeep, what do we call it? Short Hood 95 down here. He just sent me a picture of a Miata on a lift, and then some video of some dudes bombing a lifted Miata on 33s going off. Oh my God, it was.
Well, that's the thing now. Like even Porsche they released that 911 Dakar, which is like
yeah.
I mean, it's becoming like overland everything now.
But like Tommy, I'm like, you do this thing. Like, take that Miata, let's go. I think that would be fun, right? And it'd be fun to take something like a Subaru or a Porsche Cayenne or something. Or what's not the Cayenne? What's the small SUV?
Macan.
The Macan.
Yeah,
But
and like, how far can you go in it? What can you do in it? Like,
dude, there's some guys that take it
I
pretty
know.
crazy.
I've
ass.
seen those.
Yeah.
That would be fun. Like, if you guys could do like get multiple guys together, multiple people together, and then do competitions. Like, see who can launch the furthest, who can do more burnouts.
That's like the ultimate goal, right? Because at this point, it's funny you mentioned Macan. That's her like daily driver. And so I've got this, I've got a friend of mine who makes videos
Not
as
anymore.
well.
Sounds like it's getting wrecked.
Not anymore.
But I would just be out there, like I would be out there if she let me take the keys, I would be out there like if I put one scratch on this thing, I'm gonna die.
My wife has the Volvo XC40, the little small crossover all-wheel drive. And I was like, babe, we could take it on Mojave. Like, let's just come on and see what it does on Mojave.
But I think, like, you guys, if you've watched Top Gear, you remember all the cheap car challenges? Like, that's the ultimate goal right there. If you have a little bit of a budget and everybody goes and gets, $3,000 to build their whatever, and then you go do the Mojave Road or something like that. I think that would just be a blast.
Yep, that's how the Gambler 500 started.
What's the crossover rate? $3,000 to like Mexico pesos.
Ooh,
like, can I?
That's like 30,000.
I think it's like $50,000.
$4.5 million.
Yeah, that's what I would try and
For
do
$3,000,
somehow.
I'd just buy the nicest Honda Pilot I could get, and then just drive that.
Yeah.
Just drive that, dude, through the.
That's a good choice, Jose.
That
That's a
is
good
not a
choice.
bad.
That's the next phase. Once I
Toyota
start-
Matrix
Or
I'm
Honda
gonna get a
Element.
Toyota
The
Matrix.
The nicest
We
Yeah,
will.
Matrix.
drive Honda Element.
Once
That's
you
what you
start
want.
seeing ridge lines and stuff like that, overlanding, that's when like overlanding's hit its peak.
Dude, I'm telling you, those Hondas are tough vehicles. No one wants to believe me.
Until I see one out there doing something, like
There's
I'm not gonna believe you.
There's a guy on social that's got a nicely built Honda Ridgeline and does all kinds of wheeling, and I'm trying to get him on the show, and he hasn't responded. So John, if you're listening,
It's black, right?
yeah.
Oh, John, his is it's a Pilot that he's got, right? John DZ.
John
John
DZ.
Easy, yeah. There's that.
It's one of his
One of his buddies has the Ridgeline,
Oh,
and
yeah,
he's
okay.
got the Pilot, and they're both awesome. And I've sent messages to them and be like, "Hey, I want to get you on the show," and then like most people, they ignore me. Like you guys didn't ignore me, which initially makes me think, "What's wrong with these people that they're willing to come on this show?"
Yeah.
But most people ignore me when I ask them to come on the show.
Who are these weirdos sliding into our DMs?
That's always weird, dude. Asking like people to come on the show. It's like, hey, you don't know me, but
I'm over it, dude. I just how straightforward was it? I sent these guys a message. Hey, I produced this show. Do you want to come on? Like
you have to pull a Ron Burgundy. Like, I'm kind of a big deal. You want to come on to my podcast? And then see how that goes.
I'm a 49-year-old white man. We all have podcasts at this point. Like that's what we do. That's our midlife crisis.
And smoke meats.
whatever.
Okay.
Whatever you do in your own time, bro.
You do you. I'm gonna let you do your thing, man.
Casey, that's our other show.
Yeah.
Hold on.
You gotta get you a smoker,
Dude.
Cody.
No,
Is that a euphemism?
I told you I'm full Blackstone.
What's his or her name?
Yeah.
I don't think Casey had said anything in like 20 minutes. That was just like, smoke meats.
That's true. Thanks, Jeff.
Sorry, I had to get that one in there.
That's perfect.
That's what happens.
All right, this is bullshit. You guys can't be in Seattle
barbecue
anymore. You
and
got to
it's
move down
smoking
here to
meat.
California so we can hang out with you. This is too much fun.
Yeah, you can smoke meats with
You can
Casey.
smoke meat with Casey. Do you guys have any plans on coming back down to California anytime soon?
We may next year. So we're as soon as we left Utah, we kind of every April we're getting in this rhythm where every April we do like a long 2-week trip. But where do you go in April, right? So like we can go to SoCal, we can go to Utah, we can go to Arizona. That would be another option, a little further. But it's just a little limited as far as what can you do that time of year. So we're kind of alternating, and so we've kind of hatched a plan to start out in Utah, and then work our way west. Probably go east to west on the Mojave Road because we did west to east So do it the other way and then end up in Death Valley, something like that. Maybe. Okay. I don't know. It's early stages. I haven't really planned it out yet, but
we usually start talking about where we want to go the following year for our long extended overlanding trip, probably before we actually even get home from.
Yeah. It's like on the way home. Like, where are we going next?
Yeah.
See, this is like, our problem is we go, didn't we tell people we're going on the Mojave next weekend? Like we should probably let people know what time to meet, because like everything is so last minute with us because we're not good at what we do. What has been your, of all the stuff going back to like when you got the truck and started this stuff, what has been the most appealing part of this whole adventure for you guys as a couple? And why do you continue to do it?
I think because our daily lives are so hectic, right? We're in the city. We're always connected to our phones. We've got multiple businesses that we're managing and juggling. When we're able to get out and we're able to find, a beautiful campsite somewhere where there's no one for miles and there's no cell reception, time slows down. And I think that's the biggest draw. I don't want to speak for you, but for me, that's the biggest draw is time slows down. And then your priorities change, right? It's very primal. It's just like, do I have shelter? Do I have food? Should I start a fire? And so that's all you're really, at least for me, that's all my mind is occupied with. And so it just is really probably the best way I can think of to decompress from the day-to-day life and all the obligations and responsibilities that we have.
I think that one of the really cool things that I found for us when we're overlanding together is I think that it's really helped us with our communication skills. I think that it has deepened our bond. I think that we really have to rely on each other to survive when we're out there. And so I think that it just allows us to like, hey, we need to talk about this. Like we need roles, like we're going to get to camp, like who's going to be in charge of this, who's going to do this. And I think once we kind of figured out like who was doing what, and we figured out like how to communicate with each other when there are things that need to get done or in a bind, like this spot that we were trying to go, or this trail we were trying to run, the trail's actually closed. So now we have to figure stuff out like on the fly. I think that it's really helped us, or at least I feel it's helped us be able to work really well together, so that when we are faced with challenges in our business or just in life in general, like I feel like some of that kind of spills over, and it has just helped us as a couple. So
I can absolutely see that, because once you're out there, it is so easy in the day-to-day life with work and TV and phones and kids and all the things to like only a portion of your brain is able to connect with that other person in your life. When you get out there and you're just sitting by the campfire looking at the stars, there's nothing else but
there's
the two of you.
New roles, or there's new responsibilities.
All the distraction goes away, and it's like just the two of you. And I think that is a very beautiful.
Are you gonna
I
cry?
might cry. Goddamn it! Start crying. But it was beautiful, guys.
No, that was a great point. That
it
was. It sounded like you were sneaking up on it.
Hold on a minute. I'm gonna get through. It's amazing. It's amazing to piggyback on that. When we get out to when we get to camp, there's so much that we do, and it's like just nonverbal. Like we have our roles, and I would say to any couple, if any couple is wanting to do this together, like defining those roles will take time, and it'll be, a little bit painful at first, but once you kind of figure out those roles and just fall into it, it's great. Like we get to camp and we know who's, we know who's setting up the tent. We know who's setting up the kitchen. We know who's, doing what at all times. And it just happens. It's like, you don't have to think about it anymore.
Mm-hmm. And do you, and now I'm asking, you talked about the roles. Do you find that there are very clearly defined roles that you always stick to every time? Or is it more of a situation where you guys have primary roles, but everybody knows what the next thing is that needs to be done, and if you're available, you do the next thing?
I think it's a little bit of both.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of both, because there's definitely an order to, what we do when we do it, when we set up, how we go about it, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
We definitely have primary roles, but there's days, there's days when we were out in Utah and Christine's allergies were just killing her, right? So she's kind of down for the count, and so it's okay. I'm going to step in, and I'll take care of this stuff, and then
you didn't stand over here and go, you got to put some dirt on it, get back out there. I'm not doing this by myself.
No, you're sitting.
I would
your job
in the face before you could say something like that to me.
I like being married.
Like, what did you say?
Yeah. Oh, look, I would never say it to my wife. Absolutely not. I'm just curious if someone else was able to say that to their wife.
To answer your question, no.
That's awesome.
You're sitting back in a chair with a cocktail going, well, I'm all set up waiting on you. Waiting on that kitchen.
When you going to get
set
those
up.
potatoes peeled?
Man, some food will go excellent with this cocktail right now.
Well, and I asked because even though Tammy and I, we don't go out and do as much as you guys do, I feel like for us, there are primary roles, but for the most part, it's like we kind of know that this is the succession of things that need to be done. And whoever's done with the first one does the second one, and then that person does the third one. And that translates to home. And it's, whether it be taking out the trash or doing the dishes or getting our daughter ready for school, like it's very much you get into a rhythm and you're like, okay, cool, this rhythm works. And I agree with you that when you like as a couple, when you start doing these things outside of the normal day-to-day house life, it changes the dynamic in a way that is maybe less territorial or less like, oh, we got to figure this out together. And it's less like, your job.
It's like a shared experience.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's a very cool insight for you guys to share.
Yeah, it's teamwork is huge. Like, I don't know how you would do what we do without good teamwork. Mm-hmm. It would just be, you'd be fighting against each other.
I'll tell you, I've watched Matt try. He just throws the tent in the fire at the end of the weekend.
This zipper's fucked bullshit. Up right in the fire.
I'm done with it.
Gotta go to Walmart.
Yeah. Thank God we can't miss Walmart. Thank you, Christine.
Oh, man, she's got your
exactly. Well, you know what? It makes sense. If you keep buying $50 tents, you're going to need to go to Walmart a lot. That's all.
That's funny. Speaking of $50 tents, like what's your favorite piece of gear of all the gear that you have? Like, what do you think is your favorite piece of overlanding gear?
I know what mine is. You know what yours is?
Oh, I love the Tembo Tusk.
Really?
Scottle. Yeah, well, I got that over the summer, and that has been my latest obsession.
Nice.
I'm like, we can't go anywhere without this. And like, we actually where were we just the other day? You were like, oh yeah, we could bring the Scottle here. Oh no, the park.
Yeah, cook some dinner on the Scottle.
I was like, hey, we can play bocce ball here. I didn't realize that we could do that. And Jeff's like, oh, and we could bring the Scottle. I'm like, yeah, good. It's public park. Yeah,
that's awesome.
So that's my favorite. Yeah, I love to cook. I love, So that's been a game changer. I'm like, oh, Coleman, I'm gonna cook on this. I'm like, a Scottle, yeah.
Man, she's just dogging on me bad right there. Like, I've got that shitty old Coleman, and I'm liking it though. That's my.
Well, we have like a 35-year-old.
It's like a 35-year-old Coleman. That's what replaced. And that thing, it will never. I was like, we'll get something different when this breaks.
Yeah.
And I realized it will never break.
No, mine has bounced around the back of my truck for 10 years, and it still goes, man. It's awesome. What about you, Jeff? What's your favorite?
Oh man, I take a lot of crap for this. It's my sleeping bag. I have the largest, most cumbersome sleeping. It takes up more room than anything else in the truck. Is this sleeping bag?
It's bigger than I am.
It's probably taller than Christine.
It is taller than me.
But I can't do mummy bags anymore. Like, I hate mummy bags. I like to be able to roll around. I like to be able to spread out. And so I just got so freaking sick of the mummy bags thing. And so I just broke, and I was like, I don't care how much space it takes up. I'm getting this sleeping bag it's just a big box, right? It's like a hunter's sleeping bag. It's like a minus 20 degree flannel lined, gigantic, boxy sleeping bag. And it is worth every square foot of space that it takes.
Wow, square foot, not even square inches. It's like measured square feet.
It takes like a dead body. We'll be like heading out on the trip, and Christine's like, "Oh, can we bring this?" I'm like, "Nope."
He's like, "There's no room." I'm
There's
like,
no room.
"Oh, really? No room?"
That's where my sleeping bag goes. But you know, you gotta sleep. You gotta be able to sleep if you're gonna be out there for multiple nights and sleep well. And so that one's a big deal for me. I won't give that up.
We're gonna do a video that shows Jeff's.
Yes, we need to see that.
Yeah.
What's the next bit of gear or equipment on the wish list for the next trip?
Ooh. After our trip to Utah, our tent, it's got 2 doors on it. One of the zippers on one of the doors is busted. It's the second time that
trash.
We're gonna have to replace it, and not because the first time we replaced it, it wasn't because it failed on us. It was because we got caught in a storm. It was torrential downpour. We rolled it up and I was like, all right, when we get home, we'll air it out. And then that was like the end of the camping season. Then we opened it up.
6 weeks later, you're like, what? Did we ever air that?
It was bad.
And it was legit. It was like the camping bin, right? So we threw it in there, and we didn't open it for like 5 months. And it was a science project in there. It was like nothing could be salvaged. So learned a lesson there.
But I think
what kind of tent do you guys have?
It's nothing special really. It's an Alps mountaineering 4-person kind of standard ground tent, but it's the second one that we bought because I got caught in the worst rainstorm I've ever experienced in Sturgis on a motorcycle trip with that tent. And all of my friends in the morning got out of their tent and they turned the tent upside down to dump the water out of it. Right. Water. And I was like bone dry. And I was like, well, okay, I'm sold on this tent now forever. But yeah, so we got to figure out a new tent situation. So I don't know, maybe a Gazelle. But that takes up almost as much room as my
not as much room as the sleeping bag.
Wow.
But it still takes up a lot.
The Gazelle is great, but it is a 7 foot long. Right? Yeah. It's not easy.
We've got some friends who have a couple, and we watched them put it up, tear it down, and we're like, oh God. If only it wasn't so big. We're talking about maybe getting a Gazelle tent, but again, it's the size that.
But I don't know that I don't know that anybody makes a tent that easy and spacious that's any smaller.
No, because Shift
Pod is just as big, or not, if not bigger.
Yeah, I think it's bigger.
The one like Matt has, he has the 4-person, but they make a 6-person too, and it's Coleman.
Yeah, it's a Coleman 1 minute setup. I've had that for probably 3 years now, and I've been pretty happy.
Which is amazing. If Matt can have something longer than 2 trips, it is durable as shit.
Yeah, I've gone through 6 at Walmart.
I've gone through 6 tents since Matt.
12-person tents.
Taj Mahal size elephant
12-person tents. I bought one at that Walmart on that trip.
That's right.
And it's only 3 of them. Oh, 4 now.
Yeah, it's now 4 of them.
I don't know. Is there any other gear that?
I think at this point we've got our stuff pretty dialed in. One thing that we do, I think this is really helpful for us, is on the way back from any trip, we start making a list of the things that failed or the things that we wish we had or the things that we want, and that's what we'll buy. So even when we started out, we went out with just our normal like camping stuff that we'd use at the state park. And then after a weekend, we'd be like, okay, well, half of that's got to go. We got to upgrade this stuff. But like, that was the best way to learn. But at this point, those lists are getting pretty small. So I think everything that's on the list at this point is like, oh, what if we got a rooftop tent? But then I do the math, and I'm like, to get a rooftop tent is going to be, I need a roof rack, and then the stock suspension is probably going to have to get swapped out. And all of a sudden, I'm like $9,000 into getting a rooftop tent. I don't know if I want to do that. So. A trailer. We talked about getting a trailer, but we're like, Christine's a little bougie, so the trailer we want is a Patriot Camper X3.
Oh, you're trying to buy,
and that's like a $60,000 trailer right there.
You're trying to buy another car.
I love that he's like, Christine's a little bougie, and she just went. Didn't say a thing. I was just having a conversation with somebody about the trailer thing, and we have gone back and forth on this, and I think I have finally gotten over it. I do not think I will ever go the trailer route. As much as I like the idea of disconnecting driving, like when Matt and I carpooled out to Laughlin when we did the Mojave Trail, we may have gone like a couple miles per hour over the speed limit, and you can't do that with a trailer. You can't, if we hit a flat open spot on the trail and we want to like just bomb it. You can't do that with a trailer. And I think it would be too much.
I mean, I probably could, but there would be a very large debris field behind me.
There wouldn't be much trailer left.
More than there already is? Or?
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm always going to leave that debris field. It's just how much debris are you giving me to distribute? You know?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, every time, the funny thing is we talk about a trailer, but every time we come back from a trip, I tell Christine, I'm like, I don't think I would have wanted to do half the trails that we did if we'd had a trailer, especially like exploring side roads and spur roads and switchbacks. And, you know, the number of times that we've had to stop and do a like Austin Powers 27-point turn to get around somewhere.
Yeah,
like,
that doesn't happen. And
I think if we had a trailer, I just wouldn't go down any of those roads. And that would be a bummer because that's where we find all the best, campsites and all the best
It's
spots.
either that or you go, hold on, and you get out and you got to hike your ass 2 miles up to see if it's something doable, and I don't hike. So
and I know there's videos on YouTube that people wheel the shit out of their trailers, but dude, I'm not trying to do that with already $50,000 trailer, and you're like, dude, I might flip this thing. And sorry, that's not.
Yeah,
I can't even afford the trailer, so what am I even talking about?
Well, that's why I told myself that, right? Like I can't afford a trailer, so it's trailer's garbage. I don't want one of those.
Yeah, exactly. Well, guys, I'm so glad that we were able to connect and get you on the show. This has been a ton of fun. You guys are awesome. I love everything about what you're doing, and just the way you guys are interacting and the whole conversation about what this has done for you guys as a couple. And
you listened to us the whole time. You didn't like these guys suck and like close.
Oh, they're
out
100% going to regret this afterwards. Absolutely.
Yeah, no, but we appreciate your time. They're going to
they're going to try to find
the amount of shit that we're going to be talking when we hang up.
Oh, that's expected. No, I mean we know that, but you still
so are we.
You hung
so
in
we.
there.
We're going to be talking shit to each other for the next half hour.
Yeah,
Trust
exactly.
me. That's what we do. We interview someone and we're like, hey, that's a good time, and then we just spend the next 30 minutes bashing on each other. That's kind of our
you
thing.
guys are safe. Like we're very appreciative.
But no, this was absolutely great. I love what you're doing. Everybody, go follow their stuff, which is where-to-next.overland on Instagram and where-to-next-overland on YouTube. You guys are already killing it with 7,500 subscribers on YouTube and 20,500 followers on Instagram. So clearly you're doing something right because you guys are growing your audience quickly, and I think a lot of it comes back to the content that you're creating. So keep doing it, and when you guys make your way down here to the ghetto, let us know. We'd love to connect with you and hang out, and Jose will let you know when the Baja trip is planned.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for having us. This was a lot of fun for sure. We appreciate it.
All right. Well, anything else, guys? You good? All right. You guys, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it. You have a good night. All right. You didn't hang up. Good job.
Followed instructions.
Yeah,
Dude, I mean, I forget. Like sometimes I'm like, did we even tell him not to hang up?
So, seriously, a lot of fun, guys. You guys are a lot of fun. Love listening to your stories. This is awesome. This is why you're we're still streaming, by the way, but we're not. This won't be part of the show. This is why your social media and YouTube is growing so fast, because you guys have great content and doing a lot of great things. We'll get this edited. Usually I tell people that I'll edit this after work tomorrow. I don't work, so I don't know. At some point tomorrow, I will edit this.
And you don't edit, so
yeah, I'll put this together, and I will post it tomorrow night, and it'll be live. It'll be ready to download on Thursday morning. I'll send you guys an email once it's up and ready to go, and then we'll use some. I'll send you some social media posts that we use to promote it on our platforms. But we'll do our best to drive some content to you guys, and get the message out. And it's, in all honesty, if there's anything we can do to help, or if you got trips planned in the area, or you want to connect at any point, do not hesitate to reach out. We'd love to connect with you guys again.
Appreciate it. Yeah. Thank you much. We'll do the same. We'll push out the links and all of that everywhere too, to drive people to the podcast and the stream.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Awesome. All right, guys. Well, now for real, thank you. You guys have a great night, and we'll talk to you in the next couple of days.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks a lot, guys. Good night.
Thanks, guys. Potty break.
Potty break. Potty break.
Potty break.
Who's in? Matt's doing potty break. What is?
I got shit for wearing this hat on the YouTube.
I saw that.
Really?
I can't even see what the hell it says.
This person fucking has eagle eyes because he's like, why the fuck you wearing that hat, bro? I was like,
I know who's in the chat room, and I can see. I don't know. Maybe if there was a different hat.
I told him, well, send me a fucking hat, and I won't be wearing this one.
Right?
Oh shit, that is awesome. Oh, now I'm going back. As soon as you said that, I could see who was in there. Oh shit, that is great. Horse trainer, I agree. Those guys were great. A lot of fun to talk to them. Love their whole dynamic and everything. So
yeah, they're genuine.
Yeah, really cool. Well, that, and again, like I wasn't kidding. Like it was like one of their reels popped up in my feed, and I'm like, oh, this is really cool. And then I don't know, maybe a day or so later, it popped up again. And I'm like, I gotta see more of this. And it's just the way they tell stories and their personalities.
But there's something to that now, because now every fucking YouTube guy, every YouTube Overland is like, they have everything, like the top shit, right? It's cool to see that someone just has like a nearly bone stock fucking truck, and they do all the same shit everyone else does.
We are the People's Podcast, the People's Overland Podcast, the POP, with the people.
Yeah, there's several shows I watch that I'm just like, the build is just like so outrageous. It's like, I'll just pull out my this and that. It's like, I could never even dream of owning anything like that, you know?
A Timbo Tusk?
No. I'm just saying, like all the gear, the vehicle, all that shit.
No,
like,
I know.
I own a Skittle.
Casey's got that hobo tusk.
It's funny because
I like that.
The hobo
I was calling
tusk.
it a Skittle.
Timbo Tusk makes a smaller one now. It's like the adventure one, and it looks just like Casey.
Does it really?
Yeah.
Casey, well, it's
all the same fucking part.
Yeah, Casey took a hubcap, flipped it upside down, and welded some conduit to the bottom of it.
Done.
It's a hubcap with rebar.
And that smaller adventure one still costs more than what I paid in materials to make mine.
Yeah, but yours is EMT, 3/4 inch EMT, and what did you use for the griddle?
It's a plow disc. That's where they started. That's where they came from. People were using those long before a Skittle.
That's funny.
They used to call them cowboy cookers.
That's interesting. The last trip, Mojave trip, my 2-burner Coleman with my $12 griddle that sits on top of it worked like a champ.
I keep thinking, like, before every trip, I'm not gonna bring the Skittle. It's kind of cumbersome setting it up. I'm just gonna get a regular stove, and then as soon as I bust it out and start cooking on it, I'm like, I'm never getting rid of this thing. This thing is awesome. In fact, I might even build another one.
All right, 3, 2, 1. All right, thanks to Jeff and Christine for joining us. We were just kind of talking in the break here while Matt was in the potty break, was how genuine and cool they are, and their content reflects that, and just joy to spend some time with. So if you guys haven't already, go check out their stuff. Where to next, Overland. I don't think we have a lot. Let's talk about the Tacoma leak.
Oh, yeah.
So I probably had 7 or 8 people send me that image, and I had seen it. And I read an article that said that the person that quote leaked it took the
same URL from last year.
Yeah, and the previous release, it kept changing the numbers until they got it. Who the F has got that kind of time, right? Okay, so if that's the case and it wasn't leaked by Toyota, do we think that that's the official final rendition of what the Tacoma looks like?
Can you pull it up on the big screen? So
I can do that.
I think I've seen something.
It wouldn't surprise me if that's
fucking hilarious, because there's already memes about like 2016 Gen 2 Tacomas, or I'm sorry, Gen 3 Tacoma owners trading in their trucks for the Gen 4. And it's like the same fucking interior.
yeah. You know 100%. You know 100% it's going to have the exact same interior, and the seat is going to be uncomfortable as shit.
And rear drum brakes.
Yes.
No, they've confirmed the disc rear brakes already.
So that's the
Hey,
picture that
it's
got
not
leaked.
confirmed until it's like
no, Toyota
on the lot.
Toyota posted the picture of the rear wheel with the disc brake.
So it
Okay.
looks like
It's a baby Tundra.
small Tundra.
Yeah.
Which I think that image that's out, that leaked image that's out, the front end looks great. It looks like
The truck looks awesome,
yeah.
dude.
No,
The-
it looks good.
If it is a baby Tundra, I wonder if they addressed the shitty back end the way the Tundra, if it's the same type of Tundra rear insert instead of a bumper.
Oh, so I thought you were talking about the geometry. It's
No,
it's not leaf sprung anymore.
No, but the Tundra, the side bed panels wrap around to the tailgate, and the bumper is an insert that sits between the two pieces.
Oh,
so if you want to do a rear bumper, you got to do a full cut
Major
around.
mod,
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah, one of the owners of one of the Toyota dealerships I was doing work with, he was like, bullshit, I saw this thing coming out. I bought the last generation off the lot because I'm not going to get one of these pieces of shit.
Look, dude, the mid-size game right now, mid-size truck market is awesome, dude.
It's at its peak, yeah.
That new Colorado is fucking dope. The new
Shouldn't
Ranger,
the Ranger have come out too?
the Ranger's coming out tomorrow.
It's
Yeah, the Colorado and the Canyon.
look, if I had a job, I'd be pre-ordering that shit.
Those fucking Colorados and Canyons are fucking badass.
I don't
The Ranger, it comes out tomorrow, and from the pictures, it looks fucking badass.
Yeah.
This Tacoma looks badass. Like,
Yeah.
it's apparently Ram has a fucking truck, a midsize coming out.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh,
Ooh, they bringing the Dakota back?
Yes. I don't know if it'll be the Dakota, but there's been discussion about Ram and a midsize. I agree, Jose, that, and I think that we talked about this like a year and a half ago.
Yep.
That Toyota has been the old truck for a while.
Now
They're
it's gonna be Nissan.
They're going to be the
again.
new, and then no. Well, yeah, I guess
Yeah.
Nissan but I mean, I think at this point, like if we look at once the new Ranger hits, because I think the Ranger will hit after Tacoma.
The Ranger's coming out tomorrow.
But I'm saying like, I guess you're right. So the Ranger and then the Tacoma.
Yeah.
By the time the Tacoma hits, it'll be almost like a level set. Like
Yeah.
all generations of the trucks across the board are a year or two old, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like where it was before, where the Ranger came out towards the end of the generation before it, and of the competition. So it's like I'm curious to see once that happens, where like, okay, 2024, all of the next generation of trucks is out. Who's gonna win? Like, what's gonna happen there?
Yeah, it's fucking. It's like stiff
Tacoma's going to win.
Yeah, bro,
Just
they're gonna-
because it doesn't matter. I've said it before, and you just alluded to it. It could have the same exact interior with fucking drum brakes, and people would come out, and the support would be automatic. They already have aftermarket, everything. Front rear bumpers,
I mean,
all-
dude, they
all the
have two
aftermarket
fucking
support.
plants building nothing but Tacomas, and they can't fucking sell enough of them.
Exactly.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And they'll lean their price. Like,
yeah, and that's the other problem with all these trucks now too. It's like they're all $60,000 plus.
Yes, I know that.
now
Like
for a fucking mid-sized truck,
yes, and I want that Ranger Raptor,
dude. That's a $80,000
I
truck.
I know my wife loves me, but I don't think she loves me enough to buy a Raptor when I don't.
but
have a
You're gonna need a second sugar
job.
mama.
I need a new job.
But the problem is, even if you could afford the Ranger Raptor at $80,000, can you justify spending the $80,000 for a mid-sized truck, or because you could get
If it's a miniature Raptor, hell yeah.
Yes, 100%.
yeah, but
I
most people
could.
are like, "Fuck that! I'll just get a regular Raptor for
No,
the same
I
price."
know. I know. I'd say, and I don't think the Ranger Raptor is the right vehicle for most people, right?
No, that's very like you're buying that truck because that's exactly what you want.
because
Exactly
you can.
what I want.
Because you can.
No, you want a smaller truck that fucking
Yes.
performs.
No,
like-
exactly. That's the truck you want.
Yeah.
And you can.
My
See,
truck.
Danny in the chat is like at $80,000 just get a full size. Yeah, but
But I don't want a full
I
size.
know.
Like
I don't want a full
my
size.
truck, when I got the Ranger, and then we put that Stage 8 suspension on it with the lift and the wheels, and at the time there wasn't a lot of those Rangers that were in that condition. And we joked around when we did the donut run. We joked around about that being the closest to a Raptor that was available at the time. And knowing how much fun I've had in that truck and what it's capable of doing, to answer your question, absolutely. I would spend, if I had 80 grand to spend, for the additional power, additional suspension, the additional amenities.
Right. You also wouldn't put a rooftop tent on
no,
it.
Absolutely
not. It would not be an overlanding truck.
No.
Yeah, exactly.
That would be a 100% you guys can't keep up with me truck. Like, I would do whatever I could to keep it as light as possible, right? But I don't see that happening. You know.
I mean, it's hard now because, dude, every manufacturer now has a fucking a pretty legit offering.
Yeah, and I think that it's going to impact the used market as well. So
Dodge is pretty much the only one that doesn't have a mid-size offering.
Dodge and Nissan doesn't have an SUV. Like, they don't have the Xterra, right? Toyota has the.
But I mean the mid-size truck,
mid-size truck. Yeah, Dodge is pretty much the only one. I mean, I don't know, man. Like the mid-size market is like on fire right now. Like you can't make a bad choice. Like,
no, 100%. If you're out to buy a truck, buy the one you can afford. That, you know what I mean. You're gonna have
that comes in the color you want.
Yeah, exactly.
Whatever options you want, you can buy that truck.
Yeah, totally agree with that.
Well, I mean, that kind of goes to, again, Toyota buyers. That's the thing. Like, the accessories, the aftermarket support, it's automatic. That is automatic. So,
dude, you know
you're going to overpay. You're going to overpay, and you're going to accessorize the shit out of it because you can.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So if you're actually looking into overlanding or getting into to realistic four-wheeling or whatever, you're going to, maybe Toyota prices you out. And then you go, okay, well, I'll look at the Frontier and I'll look at the, Colorado or whatever. And that
Colorado's going to be more.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying? You'll look at lesser.
Yeah.
But just something that's not as costly. Well, and I think we're all in agreement, especially, with driving Jose's truck last couple of weeks ago. There's a lot of awesome, supremely capable trucks. The midsize market it's
on fire right now.
It really is on fire.
And Betty White asked the question, where does the
Scotty's on fire?
Betty White asked, where does the Ridgeline sit in all that? And I would say
it doesn't.
Okay, goddamn you guys. There's going to be some people that say that doesn't qualify as a midsize truck. I would say that it qualifies in that lineup that we just talked about. That's now the entry level, right? That's now if you can't afford the Colorado and the Tacoma and the Ranger and the Frontier, or you don't want to go that, there's another option.
I don't know. There was a rendering of if Honda made a Type R version of the Ridgeline a couple weeks ago. It looked badass.
Yeah.
I was like, damn, that would be
it's just difficult because that's an independent rear suspension vehicle.
Yeah, again, I'm not saying that it's going to compete with
cars.
I'm not saying it's going to compete with those.
Hey, I can get a good look at an Ultra 4 car.
It's gonna be your bull though.
It's
gonna be your Ultra 4.
But I'm saying there is it falls into that category somewhere, and it will fit a niche for someone.
But even a Ridgeline now, it's like 40 grand.
Yeah. I don't know.
I'm just saying, dude, everything's fucking it's ridiculous now. Even my truck, it's base model. The only thing it has is 4-wheel drive, and it was like 36.
Yeah. I get it.
Look at what that thing is capable of doing. It's just a base model. It's comfortable.
Yeah, I mean,
badass off road.
It's handsome.
The only thing it doesn't have from the Pro 4X is a rear locker.
Yeah,
and the nicer interior, but I didn't want the leather and shit.
And
probably doesn't have the stereo or heated seats or
all that convenient shit.
But going back to the locker, I 100% agree. If you can afford the locker when you buy the truck, absolutely get the locker, right? But I also agree. I would also say that we do a lot of adventuring with a lot of different vehicles, and a good chunk of those vehicles that come with us do not have lockers. And
dude, a lot of
they make it.
They may have to do 2 runs at it, or they may have to take a different line. and it may be a little bit more stressful unless you're Nicole and you just do 60 miles an hour no matter what.
Yeah.
But like, I'll get to one of those obstacles and I'll put it forward low, put the locker on because I have it, and just cruise right up, right? But there is so much you can experience and explore in a base stock four-wheel drive vehicle.
Yeah. I agree.
So, if that ends up being the Tacoma, from the front end, it looks like a super nice truck.
And this is gonna be the first one that's hybrid. This is the first midsize hybrid truck.
Interesting.
That is interesting.
The Maverick, right?
Truck, I said.
Ooh, that's a good one. Would you throw? So
no. How about no?
Look, there's a handful of them here in the neighborhood that I see regularly. I really like that truck.
I saw one today with a Go Fast camper.
Oh shit!
On it, awning. I took a picture of it. I forgot to send it to you guys, but I'll send it to you guys.
Look, I don't disagree that a Maverick or a Ridgeline is probably the best daily driver utility vehicle probably ever, right? Like they do everything you need a truck to do. Just it's not a truck.
As far as the new Taco, I would really like to see it set the bar. I don't think they're going to do it. I mean, maybe as far as drivetrain with a hybrid and, they try and match.
Okay, but a hybrid
turbo.
with 3 gears is still a shitty drivetrain.
Okay, I don't know about that stuff.
Drum brakes.
I'm just saying, and I've said it before, I think they rest on their laurels and they know that they're going to be able to overprice and whatever this truck. Right out the gate, they already have the advantage. And I hope they don't just rest, sit back, and just go, yeah, we don't need to do this. You know what? And again, take the Frontier and the Ranger. I'm going to give the Ranger credit and say this is something that we need to try and surpass, because they don't have to. That's my opinion. Is they don't have to. They don't have to surpass anything that the other trucks are doing, because they have that advantage. Mm-hmm. I hope they do push the bar. Because they essentially set the bar, so many years, a decade ago or however far back
it would be. It would behoove Toyota if they didn't take all the other competitors seriously, because all the other ones, dude, they've stepped up their fucking game.
No, 100%.
And
but
if they
now
just fuck around and just just do a minor up, dude. This shit has to be like.
I hope they do. I really, I'm a Nissan guy, obviously, but I really hope they set that bar. Because they are the trendsetter. I mean, they have
they're the king of the mountain, dude.
That's right.
There's
a 10-year span where maybe even more, where nobody challenged that.
Because remember, dude, everyone had a mid-sized truck at one point. Toyota and Nissan were the only two companies that even didn't stop making.
Yeah, they stayed.
So that's why the Toyota fucking the support is there, because they're just loyal. But you know how many 2023 Toyota Tacoma owners are going to trade in their truck for a 24?
So I think it's kind of what Matt was saying. Like, I want them to push the bar. But we all know they could drop a turd with a Toyota logo on it, and people go, it's the greatest truck in the world, I'm going to buy it. Yeah,
Yay, exactly.
And I hope that's not the case. I hope that's not the case. Because I think that on the opposite end of that spectrum, you take the Nissan Frontier, which is a phenomenal truck by all standards, still gets 1/5 of the attention,
notoriety,
even when it came out, and everybody that reviewed it was like, "This is an amazing truck." You haven't heard shit for a year.
Nope.
There's nothing new happening with it.
Mark saying he saw a post that a Go Fast camper can be an option, to order from the factory from Toyota.
Oh, dude, we gotta talk to some lawyers about some shit, because did you see that? Toyota, we saw it at SEMA.
The Trail Hunter thing?
They're starting this Trail Hunter thing. To me, that's infringement, man. As far as I'm
100%.
concerned, look, Trail Chasers infers that you're hunting something, and I feel like
what are we hunting?
$20 million is what we're hunting.
$20 million.
$20 million settlement.
Easy settlement. $5
$20 million, and we shut up and go away.
Yes. Yeah.
or 20, and then we'll shut up and go away. Like just whatever we can, $20, whatever we can get. 20
Or
bucks
just
is
give us
$20.
trucks.
Or just give us a brand new truck and dude, we'll be out of your hair.
Yeah.
Just sponsor the show. Like it just keeps dropping.
you
know
can
what?
we get a tour of the factory?
How about a couple of T-shirts and a hat?
Can we speak to Frank Toyota, please?
Oh my God! I pulled a Bob Dotson the other day. We were talking to Tammy about something, and we were talking about clothing lines and stuff. And I'm like, "Do you think when John von Billabong started his company,
Steve Nautica?
I said, John von Billabong started his, and I said it deadpan, and I kept going through the conversation, and she let me finish, and she's all. Really? Is that his name? And I'm like, I don't know. It sounds right to me.
I like
it.
John von Billabong. He started the Billabong brand, and he had to wear his stuff.
I love it.
That guy sounds like he wears a monocle.
He does. He does. But I don't. It just pulled it right out of a hat. John
He collects
Bong.
exotic animals.
Mm-hmm.
He certainly bodyboards. I mean, for
Sure.
When is the do they say when the Tacoma's coming out?
The 19th.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, it already got leaked. Like all the all the.
Yeah,
The
but I
interior
didn't know
got
when the
leaked.
official
The 19th.
the official
Because every Tuesday they've been dropping fucking
little
like,
snippet
what the
pictures.
fuck?
Yeah.
Just drop the fucking truck already. Like expose it to the world.
And tomorrow is
And
the
the truck.
Ranger.
people
And
get
the
sued
truck.
for that, Jose.
Yeah.
Just exposing things.
You usually got to pay extra for that.
The only thing about the Ford Ranger
Not TJ.
the only thing about the Ford Ranger release is that it's essentially 99% the Ranger that's already around the world.
It's just it's aesthetics, right?
Yeah, well, no, even the aesthetics.
Everything.
Everywhere else,
It's a world platform now.
everywhere else has the same version that we're getting, minus whatever America puts them in.
But it was like that when the Ranger came back. It's like, dude, it's been out for 8 years already.
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, there was definitely
We're getting what everyone else has,
Yeah.
plus 2 catalytic converters.
Yeah. And a 5 mile per hour crash bar.
Yeah, the 2 catalytic converters are just after the first
The
one
two-
gets stolen.
two extra
you get the
catalytic
extra
converters.
one. But I mean, and that's a good and a bad thing. I've watched a ton of videos on the existing Ranger in Australia.
Yeah, the Ranger
and it's
Raptor,
amazing.
The Ranger Raptor that we're gonna get has been out in Australia for a year already.
Yeah, and it's amazing. It's an amazing truck.
Is it the Ranger Raptor that's coming out tomorrow, or just the regular Ranger?
I don't know. I mean, it'd be fucking if they want to go after Toyota, they're gonna be like, yeah, and we have a Ranger Raptor.
Oh, by the way,
Wait,
because I had heard
there's
that they are
more.
not going to really have no plans to release the Raptor Ranger in the U.S.
Yeah,
they
the
are. They-
CEO said like, yeah,
It's happening.
it's happening.
It's happening.
The CEO of Ford said that.
Of Toyota, they said that. Toyota's like, dude, the Ranger Raptor's coming.
Yeah, you guys should check it out.
Hey, what do you think, dude? More than ever, like, what do you think the corporate espionage is like that fucking world, dude?
Oh, dude.
Remember there was that movie with what was his name?
John von
No,
Billabong?
no. Clive Owen.
Yeah.
It was like regarding corporate espionage. I think it was some other actress.
I don't remember.
But it's like that
I
whole
only
world.
like good movies,
Yeah,
Jose.
you're right, dude.
You think that Toyota is sending people to go work at Ford and
Fucking A, yeah,
and
dude.
take
They're all
pictures
doing
on
it.
like to get the microfilm?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Whoa, dude.
You're not that old, bro.
Were you on the Rock with?
Yeah. I
You want to know who killed Kennedy?
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? I read a theory that in The Rock, that's actually James Bond.
Yeah. We
Yeah,
talked about
I
that.
saw
yeah.
that.
But
think,
dude, for sure, fucking.
I think the people on the R&D side that have all of the people involved with these projects prior to the public release are under unbelievable scrutiny and rock solid NDAs.
Yeah, but they still have to go out in public and test all this shit. They still have to go to like the same 5 or 6 suppliers and quote this shit out.
Those are all those people are signing NDAs
I'm
too.
just saying, fucking servers are hackable. Fucking
People can be bought.
yeah, dude. You don't think?
And some of us are super cheap. Just saying, if there's anybody that wants espionage from me,
Look, we all have Everybody has a price.
I just happen to be on sale right now.
Cody, you're not going to get what you just said. You will not get a job at Ford or Toyota.
Shit.
You blew it.
But
Dude,
yeah,
well,
dude,
look,
it's
I'm not going to get a job anywhere if anybody listens to this show. So that's
but yeah,
good point.
the corporate espionage game is probably fucking wild right now. With
I would be willing to bet corporate espionage from corporation to corporation is less of a concern than the interlinking media outlets and YouTube outlets trying to get all of this information. Like Toyota doesn't have to go look for stuff because there's 48 YouTube channels and online journals going to get these photos and analyzing this stuff. All they got to do is search YouTube.
I think they all know exactly what they're releasing, and it all comes down to
bro, they've already
profit
seen
margin.
it.
That's
They've already
it.
seen it.
Yeah, exactly.
All these
well,
channels-
all right, great. You're going to put a turbo on your truck. Well, whatever we're going to sell. That just means we're going to sell ours for another $500 less, and that's another $500 we'll make per unit or whatever. Like, I don't think it's like, oh my God, the Ranger Raptor is coming out. We have to come up with something to counter that. They don't give a shit about that.
No. And that's a good point. Like Toyota's going to do what Toyota's going to do regardless of what everybody else
Because that's
does.
Toyota. Yeah. Again, who's actually competing against who for what? Like specifically, you know? Like, yes, there is a market. I guarantee you there's a market for the Ranger Raptor. But it is a much smaller market. How many of those units are they going to build per year, right? Like 20,000?
No way, dude.
More than that?
No, way less.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was just throwing
Maybe
that.
5,
I don't know.
10,000, not even 10.
Right,
dude.
because they're going to charge $80,000 for a mid-sized truck.
And I'm
like,
telling you, guys, are
there's
gonna be
only so many people that can even afford that.
But then you're gonna be like, this is an $80,000 truck. I'll just get the full F-150 Raptor.
So you just cut into that number or whatever. So that's what it's all about. It's not about, hey, we gotta. These trucks have already been in planning and the investment and everything for 5-6 years or whatever. And so at this point, there's not a whole lot of changes they can make or alterations. It's just, all right, well, this is what we're gonna put out, and it's price point now. And it's like, well, we thought we were gonna be able to compete with the TRD Pro. All right, well, maybe not so much. If they do, if there is I don't think there's a whole lot of espionage. I just think it's price point adjustment.
I mean, Matt, as a Blue Oval family member, which one do you prefer, the Ranger Raptor or the F-150 Raptor?
I don't know. I got to see the Ranger Raptor. So I honestly, 100% I'm intrigued by that Ranger Raptor because I like the nimbility. Like I like the how small nimble. Thank you.
Nimbility?
Nimble.
I know what
What did I say? What did I say?
You said nimbility.
I like nimbility. That might still work.
They're playing at Coachella next year.
There's ointment for
And
that.
I like them. But I like the size of my truck, and if I can get something that's performance built and designed from the factory, because look, Ford spends millions of dollars on engineering, and
even more repairing engineering.
But Ford, whatever, manufacturers put a lot of money into
on R&D and fucking
exactly. They've done the math 100 times over, and it's not like I'm saying Icon doesn't do a great job or Fox or whatever or what's the other big the blue one
King.
Exactly.
King.
I'm sure they do the same.
Raptor.
They ain't got that kind of money. Mm-hmm. So right out the box, Raptor's going to be. I think.
But
why would you touch it after that? You're buying everything.
And that brings up the other point too. Is like these trucks are getting so capable out of the box. Like, it's cutting the aftermarket out. It's like
No.
Because again, they're only selling less than 20,000.
So they're going to sell 5,000 of these Ranger Raptors,
yes.
right? Everybody else that sees that Ranger Raptor and wants it, but can only afford the XL Ranger, is going to spend the money on the XL and then buy the $5,000 suspension.
I don't think they'll ever get to the Raptor version.
No, but this is the aspirational. This is the aspirational.
Yeah, because there's always going to be something bespoke with that Ranger.
Yeah.
Like the engine, it's not going to have the one that you have.
No.
It's a 3-liter.
It's also you're investing in a 3-year-old Ranger,
Yeah.
and then building it up. You're not buying like, I don't think you're buying right out the gate the XL T or whatever, and then trying to build that to the Raptor level. You're buying a 3-year-old XLT or whatever, and then getting as close as you can. So again, it's all about money.
So Matt,
it gives people something to chase. You know what I mean? Like
Matt, you would ask like who's competing with who, and so I just pulled this up on.
Did you ask Chat GPT?
I did not. TFL Trucks got a list of full year 2022 sales for midsize trucks. Toyota Tacoma in 2022 sold over 237,000 units.
That's because that's all they could produce. If they could produce more, they fucking would have sold.
Well, no, it was down 6% from the previous year.
I think you're going down a slightly different route, but it's still relevant.
Yeah, so
but that's just Tacoma?
The Tacoma was 237. Now, to your point, no one is competing with Tacoma.
TRD Pros and
that's everything.
237,000 units. The next vehicle, the next one down,
100,000.
Chevy Colorado at 89,000.
But is that combined with the Canyon?
No. Combined, it was 117 with the Colorado and the Canyon. That's why I'm breaking it out. The Colorado was 89, the Gladiator 77, the Frontier 76, the Ford Ranger 57, the Ridgeline 42, and the GMC Canyon 27.
Wow.
So to your point, there's the Tacoma,
and everybody,
then everybody else is competing against each other.
Yeah, you could essentially add up the rest, and you almost you equate to Tacoma.
It's about 4. It's 237 for the Tacoma. It's going to be right around 400,000 for everything else. So,
it's a huge insurmountable lead.
My point being, Toyota's going to do what Toyota's going to do. And who is Chevy and Nissan and Ford competing with? Them,
each other,
right?
Right.
Like they're competing to be number 2.
Exactly. It's absolutely
who's the next best option after Tacoma.
100%. And whether it be next best option or next most desirable, I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I meant by next best option.
But
the
clearly
second choice truck of everyone.
Correct. Clearly the and you know what's funny? Look at the if you look at the Ranger sold 94,000 in 21, and it dropped by 40% in 22, down to 57,000, and that is 100% because they kept pumping this 2024 Ranger. No one went out and bought this version of the Ranger because
the Bronco had come out.
Oh, true, very true.
You know what I mean?
That probably stole some of the thunder, but
it's like, dude, all these companies too are still having fucking supply chain issues. Like, they can't build these fucking things fast enough. Bronco, there's still people that put their fucking Bronco orders in that haven't received them.
A friend of ours just got his, and it was
3 years in.
Yeah, a friend of ours just got his like a month ago, and it was a 2.5-year waiting period for him to get it. Yeah,
that's crazy.
But
they're trying to buy you out of the fucking of that wait list.
So I think that's interesting. I think the new Ranger, the new Tacoma is going to be very exciting. I think that,
put it this way, if you're in the market for a mid-sized truck, like, dude, the world's your oyster. Like, you can't go wrong.
Well, I mean, I still think you're overpaying.
Well, you're gonna fucking.
That's the same for literally everything on the planet right now.
No, that's true. I mean, that's just the way of the world, I guess.
But I've been very lucky with buying the 1 and 2 year old truck. Like to me, the Ranger Raptor comes out now. I'm gonna find it on CarMax in 2 years. You know what I mean? That's like low miles. I'll buy that used truck. I'm just concerned that the dollar value is not gonna go down.
Not the last year or two. I mean, everything's just been outrageous.
No, but when I bought my truck January of 2020, I bought it. It was an FX4,
they were at the
fully loaded with 15,000 miles on it for under $30,000 at CarMax.
Fucking crazy, dude.
Like that I could sell that truck now for twice that much, and it's ridiculous the amount of inflation there's been in those vehicles. But we all know why. All right. Well, if
Obama,
dick.
Oh no, I'm sorry.
If anybody's buying the new Tacoma, the new Frontier, or the new Ranger, let us know. I wanna get your feedback when you get it.
I'm gonna trade my Frontier in for a new Tacoma.
Would you do that?
No, I don't want to pay $900 a month for 10 years.
And I don't think it's I don't believe it's going to be a better truck. I genuinely do not believe it'll be better than your Frontier.
I'm not a skilled enough driver to notice, like to be able to tell you, like, oh yeah, this shit performs way better on the Mojave than this.
Yeah, but, hold on. Just as aesthetics though, like again, every Tacoma I've driven is not comfortable. I drove your truck. It was, I drove it for a week or whatever. I was like, God, this is something wrong with this. Like the seat's too low or whatever. And I don't think they give a shit to change that. That's not going to be some.
Nah, dude. A lot of people fucking complained about that, so they have to address that shit.
And it
They
still
don't know.
has
They know they don't.
brakes,
They
and it
don't
has-
have to.
And,
That's the
and the
thing.
transmission's all fucked up, and the shifting pattern's all
Dude,
shitty. And
that
there's like very obvious problems with that
Yeah,
truck.
that
Especially,
current-
it's glaring. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, dude,
It
and-
is a glaring problem. Those are three obvious things that I would never like. It's a God, you're gonna jab me in the ass, and I have to overpay for this. Like, this is crazy.
Yeah, but dude,
Please
Toyota-
fix those things.
And
That's
they
what I'm
sold
saying,
4
like,
times
hey,
as
man,
much
you-
as any other truck.
What do you want me to do to you?
Yeah, whoa.
No, I'm saying that's what
Usually-
Toyota wants to do to me. Is like, yeah, guess what? Yeah, that's right. It's still drum brakes, and the seat's
I know,
uncomfortable,
but,
and
dude,
it
all
is
these
funny.
were
Give me
It's,
your money.
it's supremely underpowered, especially compared to the modern trucks or whatever. But guess what? I'm still going to poke you in the ass, and you're going to buy it, or other people are going to buy it.
I
they
agree
know
with
that
Jose that
they
many of those things are going to be resolved.
Yeah, they can't rest on their fucking laurels like
Watch
they were.
it.
We'll be here on the 19th.
I think they can, man.
They won't, dude. They can't.
I
They,
don't.
I think that's the point that we've been making, though, is that they can, and they'll still sell 3-4
Exactly.
times as much as any other truck.
Exactly. Wait,
Because
what's the difference?
anybody who has a Toyota will always buy a Toyota.
Exactly.
You're
What's
not going to sway them off
What's
Toyota.
the current model is outselling, by leaps and bounds every other truck, and all those conditions I just stated
yeah.
are existing.
Yeah.
And you can
I
go
spent-
get a Frontier, you can go get a Colorado, you can go get a Jeep Gladiator, and they're all.
Yeah, but those
all
look
those
stupid.
all those address
Stock.
all those things well whatever but all those issues have
Fucking
been
stupid,
addressed in those other
according to some
trucks.
people.
I'll tell you, I'll take a stock Gladiator, I'll wheel that all day over a Tacoma just because I know it's more comfortable. I'll even if you told me you can't do nothing to this Gladiator. You have to keep it on the stupid wheels and look like an idiot for 5 years before you can do anything to it. I'll take that, just because I know it's just a better.
I spent quite a bit.
those
We took
issues
Zed's
have been
4Runner out
not a
yesterday,
problem.
and his seating is exactly the same. They've had that problem since at least 1991, and they haven't fixed it.
Well, the newer generation 4Runner is a little bit more comfortable than all of the Tacomas. Like we test drove those. It's a little bit different seating
Yeah, I've driven
position.
several of them.
Yeah. What?
I'm just reading the comments.
Yes, Jason, I am that disabled.
You'll learn. All right. Before Jason in the chat room takes us down a path that we can't recover from, thank you guys for hanging out. If you are getting one of these new vehicles, please let us know because I want to hear about it in real time as it's happening. But thank you to Jeff and Christine for joining us tonight. Great conversation. We appreciate it. And go follow them on all the socials and the YouTubes. And we'll let you know when Jose is going to trade in his Frontier for that new Tacoma.
He's going to have to sell the Land Cruiser and trade in the Frontier to get the Tacoma.
It's a combo.
Trade in the
2 for 1?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
You could do that.
Hey,
Now,
that way your
since-
payments will only be like $600
Yeah.
a month for 8 years.
All right, everybody.
You know you want to join the Blue Oval team, Jose?
He can't handle it.
Yeah, I can't.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. We will talk to you next week.